Chapter 66. From 20 miles away, Zhao Feng could see the outline of Guangzhou Province City. In the eyes of others, including Yi Linyun, who was at the 9th rank of the martial path, Guangzhou Province City was just a small black dot. At most, it was a big black dot. In the dimension of his left eye, the faint green light had extended to 6 feet 3.5. This was also a measure of Zhao Feng's cultivation. For some reason, ever since he had reached the 6th rank of the martial path, Zhao Feng found that his cultivation had slowed down, unlike other martial arts. According to Yi Linyun, the 9th rank of the martial path was the limit of the human body, and the further one went, the slower the cultivation would progress. The carriage soon entered the bustling city. On the way, there was a lot of people and carriages. Zhao Feng found that most of the youths in the city were martial disciples, and there were also martial cultivators. This was not like the Green Leaf Village, where most of the adults were just normal people who hadn't reached the 9th rank of the martial path yet. The buildings and market in the city were far from what Sun Feather City could compare with. On the way, Zhao Feng also learned a lot. The carriage entered the depths of the city and finally stopped in front of a luxurious mansion. Compared to this mansion, the Zhao clan's mansion was like an old wooden hut, not even worth mentioning. Just the gate alone could fit a few carriages at the same time. What was more shocking was that the 8 guards at the gate were all at least of the 4th rank of the martial path. Martial cultivators of the 4th rank of the martial path are only guards here? Zhao Feng's eyes were dazed for a moment. Coming from a small town, he had cultivated step by step until now, so he naturally knew how hard it was to become a martial cultivator. Even in Sun Feather City, any martial cultivator was someone worthy of respect. This is the Guangzhou Palace, the most powerful place in the city. Later, I will transfer you to the Sky Guards Battalion, that is where the geniuses are trained. Yi Linyun reminded. Guangzhou Palace. Sky Guards Battalion. Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei were slightly nervous. After the carriage entered the Guangzhou Palace, most of the figures they met were martial artists. Along the way, Zhao Feng had already seen 2 or 3 martial masters above the 7th stage of the martial path. Not long after, Yi Linyun brought the 2 to a wasteland full of potholes in the depths of the mansion. For such a piece of barren land to appear in the luxurious Guangzhou residence was very out of place, and it was even in the depths of the residence. On this wasteland, there were many open-air tents and a few wooden houses. Only the centermost area had a decent-looking pavilion. This is the Forbidden Area, Sky Guards Battalion, created by Lord Guangzhou himself to raise geniuses. At the same time, this is the reserve camp for the Guangzhou Corps. Yi Linyun led the 2 of them inside. Heavenly Guards Battalion. Are we going to stay in a place like this? Zhao Feng looked at the wasteland. It was full of potholes and there were 10 scattered wooden houses, most of which were tents. This kind of environment couldn't even be compared to Greenleaf Town, let alone the Zhao family's private courtyard. Hee, Master Yi, are these the 2 geniuses you brought this time? A white-bearded old man walked over from the other side with a black-clothed youth following behind him. Master Hu. Yi Linyun smiled as he greeted the white-bearded old man. As they spoke, the white-bearded old man's eyes casually glanced at Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei. Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei instantly felt as if their bodies had been pierced through. His heart skipped a beat. The white-bearded old man's cultivation was probably no weaker than Yi Linyun's. The Guangzhou Palace was indeed extraordinary. The chances of seeing 2 masters of the 9th rank at the same time was extremely small. He's called Huang Qi, a genius I found in Pearl Forest City. He's already reached the 6th rank at 15. The white-bearded old man smiled as he introduced the black-clothed youth behind him. Reaching the 6th rank at 15 was considered a great talent even in the prefecture city. The youth called Huang Qi glanced at Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei, but when his eyes landed on Zhao Yufei, he was slightly stunned. The white-bearded old man and Yi Linyun were both responsible for handing over the geniuses. After sending the 3 to the Sky Guards Battalion, the 2 masters stopped their steps. Okay, Zhao Feng, I'll bring you here. Lord Guangjun will come out of seclusion next month. When that time comes, you have to perform well. Yi Linyun said a few words before leaving. As a master of the 9th rank, his time was extremely precious. The white-bearded old man also said to Huang Qi, Lord Guangjun is famous for his love of geniuses, especially young geniuses. You have to take this chance to change your fate. Yes, Master Hu. Huang Qi took a deep breath, his expression solemn. In this country, Lord Guanjuan was a legend of martial arts. The Sky Guards Battalion was created by him, and if he cultivated here, not only would he receive the support of the Guanjuan Palace, he would also have the chance to meet the legendary Lord Guangjun. Zhao Feng and Huang Qi entered the Sky Guards Battalion's barren land. On the way, they saw many youths of the same age. Most of these youths were between the ages of 12 and 18. Most of them were under 16. This meant that there were many youths of the same age as them. 12 years old, 3rd rank of the martial path, Zhao Feng was speechless. The two youths that walked past him were only 12 years old, but they had both reached the 3rd rank of the martial path. One had to know that when Zhao Feng was 12, he hadn't even stepped into the martial path yet. Apart from that, there were some youths around 14 who had reached the 4th rank, and there were even some who had reached the 5th or 6th rank. This scene caused the originally arrogant Huang Qi's expression to turn serious. Are these 3 newcomers? The youths of the Sky Guards Battalion looked at the 3 curiously. Most of their gazes landed on Zhao Yufei. Zhao Yufei was a natural beauty. Her beauty was breathtaking and elegant. She was the center of attention no matter where she went. Look, there's a genius beauty. Many youths appeared in the Sky Guards Battalion. Looking at these new faces, some of them had a playful look in their eyes. Entering the Sky Guards Battalion, Zhao Feng and the other 2 felt immense pressure. It was obvious that the youths here were all elites. This should be the place. Zhao Feng and the other 2 arrived at the building at the center of the Sky Guards Battalion. They had just arrived at the Sky Guards Battalion, and they were here to report. Entering the building, Zhao Feng found that it was completely empty. There was not a single person in sight. Are the 3 of you new here? A lazy voice sounded from behind them. What? Zhao Feng felt a chill down his spine as he turned around to see a youth wearing a dark silver robe. The 3 of them jumped in fright. How did he appear behind them? Zhao Feng soon realized that this person's clothes were familiar. He suddenly remembered that at the Genius Summit, he had seen a similar figure in dark silver fighting with an elder of the Chiu family. In an instant, the Chiu family's grandmaster of the 7th rank of the martial path was beaten to the point of vomiting blood. I'm 3rd guard, the person in charge of the Sky Guards Battalion. From today onwards, you are members of the Sky Guards Battalion. Now, I will announce the rules. The wooden youth was a man of few words. His words were simple. The rules of the Sky Guards Battalion were strict. Firstly, each member could only go out once a month. Secondly, different people were treated differently. Thirdly, you could fight here as long as you didn't kill or cripple anyone. The 1st and 3rd rules weren't hard to understand. But what did the 2nd rule mean? That afternoon, Zhao Feng understood the reason. Apart from the building in the middle, there were only 10 wooden houses and tens of tents in the Sky Guards Battalion. When Zhao Feng's group of 3 arrived, they were each given a tattered tent that was just big enough for one person to sleep in. It was very inconvenient for them to live and travel. We're going to sleep in a place like this? Huang Qi's eyes were filled with rage. A tattered tent was barely enough to block the wind and rain, but it wasn't convenient to do anything else. To think that he, the top genius of Pearl Forest City, was treated like this, how angry was he? Zhao Feng's eyebrows also furrowed. It was fine if it was him, but Zhao Yufei was a girl, and a beautiful one at that. She was a bit of a clean freak. This tattered tent wasn't even enough for privacy, not to mention bathing. Zhao Yufei bit her lips. Her eyes flickered, but she did not complain. It's easy for the newcomers to live in the wooden houses, you just have to defeat the original owner. A skinny youth of the 5th rank of the martial path smiled as he walked over, giving them a friendly reminder. With this reminder, Zhao Feng and the other two turned their gazes toward the only 10 wooden houses on the barren land. Those wooden houses were numbered from 1 to 10. They could imagine that the youths living in the wooden houses were the elites of the Sky Guards battalion. Good, good. As long as I defeat the original owner, I'll be able to enjoy special treatment. Huang Qi couldn't help but rub his palms together. His cultivation of the 6th rank of the martial path was considered high in the Sky Guards battalion. Adding on the fact that he was the top genius of Pearl Forest City, he was extremely confident. Evening. A few guards of the Guanjuan Palace brought food to the youths in the tents. Tui. What kind of food is this? It's like feeding pigs. Huang Qi spat it out after taking a few bites. It was too disgusting. Zhao Feng also almost spat it out after chewing a few bites. It turned out that the guards brought fresh food, and some of it was even rancid. However, the three of them quickly noticed that the guards heading to the wooden house were all carrying plates of fine wine and delicacies. Fuck. This works too. Huang Qi cursed and stood up abruptly. It was obvious that the youths that lived in the wooden houses all received special treatment. The youths that live in the wooden houses are called the 10 Sky Guards. Normal youths get to eat fresh food, and they even have servants to serve them. Normal youths are given 1,000 silver and blood pills a month, but the 10 Sky Guards get at least 10,000 silver, as well as all sorts of spiritual pills and resources. It's said that those that become the 10 Sky Guards have the chance to receive pointers from Lord Guanjuan. The skinny youth from before had an unhappy expression as he described the difference between normal youths and the 10 Sky Guards. Until now. Zhao Feng finally understood the meaning of the second rule of the Sky Guards battalion. Different people had different treatment. Here, only with strength could one obtain their own dignity and treatment. I want to challenge them. Huang Qi roared as he kicked the tent open, throwing away the food and ran towards the wooden houses of the 10 Sky Guards. Chapter 67. Huang Qi's roar attracted Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei's attention. What's he going to do? The two exchanged glances with Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei. The two watched as Huang Qi flew towards the 10 wooden huts. Tisk, tsk, there's going to be a good show. In the tents in the wasteland, a few youths revealed their mocking smiles. Challenging the 10 Sky Guards on your first day? How courageous. This brat has the right to challenge someone of the 6th rank. A few youths walked out of the tents. Zhao Feng's eyes scanned around and found that the youths around his age were all of the 4th or 5th rank. There were also some who were slightly older than him, but they were all of the 6th rank. The one with the worst talent in the Sky Guards battalion was comparable to Zhao Linlong of Sun Feather City. Huang Qi soon arrived at the 10th wooden hut. The 10 Sky Guards were also ranked and each wooden hut had a corresponding number. Even if they were all of the 10 Sky Guards, there would be a difference between them. The owner of the 10th wooden hut was ranked 10th amongst the 10 Sky Guards. This was Huang Qi's first challenge and he didn't choose someone ranked higher, which showed that he was cautious. Ha ha ha, who dares to challenge me, Li Changfeng? A burst of laughter came from the wooden hut. Creak. The door opened, and a bare-chested youth with scars all over his body walked out. Li Changfeng, ranked 10th, was only at the peak of the 5th rank, but he had a terrifying killing aura around him. His eyes were fierce and could make a normal person's heart tremble. What arrogance! A mere 5th rank dares to be so arrogant? Huang Qi sneered. The two faced each other on the barren land. Arrogant or not, you'll know soon enough. Li Changfeng grinned hideously and took out a black broken machete. There were many nicks on it, just like his body was full of scars. Cut the bullshit. Huang Qi's figure flickered as he executed a high-grade movement technique that had reached the pinnacle of mastery. 13 Willow Kicks. Huang Qi roared and used another high-grade leg technique, which was also at its peak level. Just these two peak-level martial arts were enough for him to look down on the youths of the same generation in ordinary cities. Stone-splitting saber art. Li Changfeng slashed out with his curved blade. A deep roar could be heard as the red inner strength of the martial path floated on the blade's edge like lightning. The level of mastery of that saber strike had actually reached perfection. Clang! The two high-ranked martial arts collided with each other. Huang Qi let out a muffled groan and retreated a few feet, his eyes revealing a trace of horror. Advanced martial art. Perfection stage. Huang Qi's heart was filled with shock and disbelief. Zhao Yufei, who was standing beside Zhao Feng, was also surprised. Splitting stones and dismembering corpses. Li Changfeng's second saber strike came, and a scarlet aura rose from the saber's edge, emitting an even stronger evil qi. That spiritual attack was enough to make ordinary warriors feel uneasy. Bird flying feathers. In his shock, Huang Qi actually used a top-notch movement martial art. His figure floated several feet high, narrowly dodging that terrifying saber strike. Flying stone splitting slash. Li Changfeng's figure floated up, and he roared like thunder. The curved blade drew a shocking scarlet light in the night sky, with a domineering aura that could split mountains and split clouds. This move has probably surpassed the moves of the original stone-splitting blade technique. What a terrifying saber! The youths who were watching the battle nearby were shocked. Li Changfeng's saber technique, combined with his own evil qi, was cold and domineering, as if it had the power to split mountains and split the earth. Soaring cloud palm. At the moment of crisis, Huang Qi did not dare to hide anymore, and suddenly used a top-notch palm technique. When that palm struck out, the wind howled, as if it had the power to split the clouds apart. Clang! The two forces clashed together, and the saber hummed. Qi swept out in all directions, and the barren land instantly had many holes. Zhao Feng finally understood why there were so many holes on this barren land. Wah! Huang Qi spat out a mouthful of blood in midair, and his clothes were torn apart, leaving behind a bloody mark. Li Changfeng's saber strike was truly terrifying. It was a saber strike that surpassed perfection, and it contained a unique evil qi that seemed to be able to kill anything in its way. Li Changfeng was actually not injured in the direct clash, and his figure only swayed after landing. Are you alright? Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei immediately went over to support Huang Qi. How could I lose? Huang Qi's injuries weren't heavy, but his face was full of shock and dismay. As the #1 genius of Pearl Forest City, an expert of the 6th rank of the martial path, how could he not be able to beat a youth of the 5th rank? As a bystander, Zhao Feng saw the situation more clearly than him. Firstly, Li Changfeng's battle experience was incomparably rich, and he was vicious and ruthless. This could be seen from the wounds on his body. Secondly, Li Changfeng's saber technique had reached a high level, and he had created something new in perfection. Li Changfeng had a terrifying evil qi that made his saber even more ferocious. It was unknown what this youth had experienced in the past. Many people could see these 2 points. But there was also a third point that some people couldn't see. Li Changfeng's body was extremely sturdy, and he didn't train in body-strengthening martial arts, but his strength was equivalent to the 4th level of the metal wall technique. Amazing! Zhao Feng nodded his head. He and Zhao Yufei remained silent as they helped Huang Qi out of the room. Brat, you dare challenge the 10 sky guards with your strength? Hee, a 6th rank can't even take 2 or 3 moves from the 10 sky guards. The newcomers this time aren't much. Ridicule sounded from the side. Zhao Feng and the other 2 had just entered the Sky Guards battalion, so they could only be considered newcomers. Amidst the ridicule, many people noticed the beautiful and elegant Zhao Yufei, and their eyes lit up. Ha ha ha! Beauty, if you don't feel comfortable sleeping in the tent, Master Li will allow you to sleep with me. Li Changfeng also noticed Xiao Yufei, and he snickered with a lustful expression. His words caused the youths nearby to laugh. Xiao Yufei's face turned cold, and she clenched her fists, wanting to challenge him. You're still not his match. A masculine and strong hand grabbed her jade-like wrist. Zhao Feng had stopped her. His left eye was able to analyze the situation thoroughly. In terms of cultivation, Xiao Yufei and Li Changfeng were on par. But in terms of martial arts, battle experience, and ferocity, Li Changfeng had the advantage. If Xiao Yufei were to challenge Li Changfeng, her chances of winning would be less than 40%. I don't believe it. Xiao Yufei's pretty face blushed slightly, and a strange feeling arose in her heart. Although her mouth was unconvinced, her hands did not struggle. TSK, where did this brat come from? He wants to be her protector. Li Changfeng licked his lips, and the killing intent in his eyes intensified as he stared at Zhao Feng. Let's go. Zhao Feng couldn't be bothered, and he pulled Xiao Yufei's hand to leave the area. Want to leave? Li Changfeng turned into a gust of wind, and stopped the two of them. Who would have thought that his high-rank movement skill was also close to the max level? Zhao Feng sneered, you want to fight? Ha ha ha, don't you know the rules of the Sky Guards Battalion? They don't forbid fighting, as long as it's not fatal or crippled. Li Changfeng laughed. The youths nearby also had pity in their eyes. Yes, the Sky Guards Battalion didn't forbid fighting, and they even encouraged sparring. This could be seen from the countless holes in the ground. That's better. Zhao Feng's eyes flashed, and he smiled at Xiao Yufei, just you wait, I'll get you a room. Hearing this, Li Changfeng and the youths around him were stunned for a moment before they started laughing out loud. Big brother Zhao Feng, Xiao Yufei was slightly worried. Although she knew Zhao Feng's strength, she still felt uneasy. Shua! The youth beside her suddenly disappeared, and only a series of blurs could be seen in the night. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Feng appeared in front of Li Changfeng. What a fast movement skill! The surrounding youths felt their vision blur. A high-rank movement skill at the max level. Li Changfeng was shocked, and he immediately used all his strength. One had to know that even his movement skill was only close to the max level, but it hadn't reached the max level yet. Shua! As the two moved, Li Changfeng was clearly at a disadvantage. Split stone. Li Changfeng's killing intent surged out, and he swung his blade skill. That blade had forced Huang Qi of the 6th rank back, so one could see how powerful it was. Under Zhao Feng's left eye, he found that Li Changfeng's blade had been infused with some kind of killing intent. It was similar to a domain, but it was different in terms of mental energy. It made the blade's power more ferocious, and it could even weaken the opponent's will. This kind of killing intent usually came from those who had killed countless people, and it could be seen that Li Changfeng's youth was extraordinary. 1-star finger. Zhao Feng yelled, and he executed his star finger to the peak of the 3rd level. Whoosh! The azure finger slashed across the night sky like thunder, and the inner energy gathered at the tip of his finger hit Li Changfeng's scimitar. Bang! Li Changfeng's scimitar swayed, and blood leaked out from the corner of his mouth. He quickly retreated, and his face was full of fear. How terrifying was the power of 1-star finger! Not to mention that Zhao Feng's metal wall technique was at the 5th level, and he could suppress his opponent in all aspects. Star finger. Zhao Feng's fingers turned into streaks of light that were as beautiful as shooting stars. Li Changfeng blocked 4 to 5 attacks, and there were a few wounds on his body, but he still gritted his teeth and didn't want to give up. This person has such strong willpower. Although Zhao Feng admired Li Changfeng, he didn't like Li Changfeng's ruthlessness, so he didn't show any mercy. Whoosh! The azure finger flashed again, and it hit an acupoint on Li Changfeng's arm. Hiss! Li Changfeng groaned in pain, and his entire arm went numb. He lost his grip on the scimitar, and was kicked to the ground by Zhao Feng. Hua! The surrounding youths were shocked. Li Changfeng, who was known for his ferocity and dominance, was easily defeated by a young man who was even younger and had a similar cultivation base. You're very strong. I won't lose to you next time. Li Changfeng got up from the ground, and he went back to the wooden house to take his things before leaving. This was the same as giving up his wooden house. He won. Huang Qi's face was filled with shock and bewilderment as he stared at the youth who was right in front of him. The three of them entered the Sky Guards battalion at the same time, and he didn't put Zhao Feng in his eyes when they first met. Zhao Feng was allowed to stay in the wooden house after defeating Li Changfeng. The wooden house's number 10 meant that he was ranked 10th among the 10 Sky Guards. At this moment, Zhao Feng could feel the fear and respect from the youths around him. Chapter 68. The 10 Sky Guards were indeed a force to be reckoned with. Zhao Feng nodded and walked into Li Changfeng's wooden house. He found that the space inside was not big. There was only a bed, a table, and a tea table. But compared to the tattered tent outside, it was like comparing a woodshed to a palace. He thought about it and decided to let Zhao Yufei stay in the wooden hut for the time being. After all, she was a girl. This is a room that big brother Zhao Feng won with his own strength. I can't stay in it. Yufei will use her own strength to fight for her rights. Zhao Yufei bit her lips and wouldn't agree no matter what. Furthermore, according to the rules of the Sky Guards battalion, only the 10 Sky Guards had the right to stay in the wooden hut. Zhao Feng could only let Zhao Yufei set up the tent next to the wooden hut so that they could take care of each other. Huang Qi from Pearl Forest City also came without an invitation and set up his tent next to Zhao Feng's hut. I hope brother Zhao can take care of me. Huang Qi's tone became polite and even had a hint of flattery. The rules of the Sky Guards battalion allowed and encouraged sparring, and strength was everything. This way, the weaker ones would be bullied without any support. Zhao Feng didn't object and returned to his room to cultivate. Ever since he reached the 6th stage, Zhao Feng could feel his progress slowing down. One more step forward and it would be the level of Martial Dao Master. That would be a whole new stage. At least in Sun Feather City, Zhao Feng hadn't seen any martial master younger than 40. 4 hours later, Zhao Feng merged his consciousness into his left eye and the faint azure halo in the dark space was still 6 feet 4 inches. At this speed, I won't be able to reach the 7th stage without at least a year. Zhao Feng thought about it and took out 3,000-year blood spirit herbs. That night, he ate 1,000-year blood ginseng. 1,000-year blood ginseng was beneficial even to a martial master. After consuming the 1,000-year blood ginseng, Zhao Feng circulated his martial path inner strength to absorb the majestic medicinal energy. A layer of blood-colored aura rippled on the surface of his body, creating a strong wind in the room. Fortunately, Zhao Feng's iron wall incantation had reached the 5th realm, and his body was strong. The medicinal effect of the 1,000-year blood ginseng couldn't do anything to him. The mysterious fusion with his left eye had also improved his physique and bloodline, allowing him to absorb more medicinal energy than others. 4 hours later, Zhao Feng started to absorb the medicinal energy of the 1,000-year blood ginseng. The light green spiral halo in his mind grew to 6 feet and 7 inches in one go, and this was under the condition that the medicinal energy had not been completely absorbed. If I take another 1,000-year-old herb, I will be able to reach the peak of the 6th level. Zhao Feng relaxed a little. However, heaven and earth spiritual materials were not suitable for continuous consumption. He planned to wait a few days before consuming the second stock. The next morning, Zhao Feng walked out of the wooden hut feeling refreshed. Soon, the guards and maids of the Guanjuan Palace came to deliver his meal. According to the rules of the Sky Guards Battalion, Zhao Feng would receive a salary of 10,000 silvers every month, as well as a few pills and treasures. Today was the end of the month, and Zhao Feng received his salary, pills and treasures. His salary was 10,000 silvers, 10 times more than the normal youths of the Sky Guards Battalion. This was the salary of the 10th ranked sky guards, and it was said that the 9th ranked would receive 10,000 silvers. The pills given out were a few blood pills and the reward was a 500-year-old lingji. This wasn't much use to Zhao Feng, who was close to the peak of the 6th rank, so he considered giving a portion to Zhao Yufei. Hee, new kid, take out half of your salary and rewards. A delicate-looking young man in white walked out of a wooden house not far away. This youth in white was clean and elegant, and it was hard to believe that those words came from his mouth. 5th of the 10 sky guards, Lu Xiaoyu. Lu Xiaoyu would rob one of the lower-ranked youths every month. The youths discussed in low voices. Zhao Feng also stared at Lu Xiaoyu who was walking over. Lu Xiaoyu was 14, not much older than Zhao Feng, but his cultivation was at the peak of the 6th rank. Let's see if you have the ability. Zhao Feng snickered coldly. New kid, don't think that you're great just because you defeated Li Changfeng. Li Changfeng couldn't even take 3 moves from me. Lu Xiaoyu said casually as he glanced over at Zhao Feng, not looking him in the eye. It was obvious that in his eyes, Zhao Feng was the same as Li Changfeng, a small character. Every rank of the 10 sky guards meant that there was a difference in strength. The difference between 10th and 5th was even greater. What does that have to do with me? Zhao Feng sneered, turned around, and walked off in another direction. If you want to fight, then fight. If not, then leave. What? Lu Xiaoyu was startled, and then his expression darkened slightly. Zhao Feng's attitude was like he was ignoring him. He had always been the one to ignore others, but now he was treated the same way. Where do you think you're going? As soon as Lu Xiaoyu finished speaking, his figure disappeared in a flash. Whoosh! Zhao Feng felt a gust of wind coming from the side, which made his heart jump, so fast. In the blink of an eye, Lu Xiaoyu appeared in front of Zhao Feng. This speed had reached the high level of mastery in movement skills. Lightly micro-step. Zhao Feng left a series of afterimages on the spot, dodging Lu Xiaoyu's attack. Not bad. Lu Xiaoyu was a little shocked. His movement technique had reached a high level of mastery and was even close to the pinnacle. In the entire Sky Guards, other than Feng Hanyue who was ranked first, no one could say that they could beat him. At most, they would be on par with him. He soon found that Zhao Feng's high-ranked footwork skill had reached the max level and its power was only above his own. Swish! Swish! The two figures intertwined on the spot, moving back and forth. It was difficult to distinguish them with the naked eye, and neither could do anything to the other. Thunderclap Fist. Lu Xiaoyu suddenly displayed a top-notch fist technique, its power was astonishing. When the fist technique was activated, it was like a thunderclap, its power was peerless. Star Finger. Zhao Feng executed Star Finger to the peak of the 3rd level and Metal Wall technique to the 5th level. But even so, he couldn't completely break through the thunderclap fist. Boom! Boom! Lu Xiaoyu's thunderclap fist was like thunder and it became more and more powerful. Coupled with his peak 6th level cultivation, he had the upper hand. Zhao Feng's cultivation was at the peak of the 5th level and his other martial arts were restricted, so he couldn't fight head-on. Just when Zhao Feng was thinking about revealing some of his strength. Stop! A domineering voice came from the side. The owner of the voice was a calm and cold bald youth. He wore a silver robe that shone under the sunlight. It's Lei Zong, ranked 2nd among the 10 Sky Guards. The surrounding youths felt their hearts palpitate and their faces were filled with terror. The two of them also temporarily separated from each other. Zhao Feng could see the fear and wariness in Lu Xiaoyu's eyes. The silver-robed bald-headed youth in front of him had reached the peak of the 6th layer, even touching the 7th layer. His aura was even stronger than Lu Xiaoyu's. He was Lei Zong, ranked 2nd among the 10 Sky Guards. Facing Lei Zong, Zhao Feng and Lu Xiaoyu felt a pressure. Lei Zong, you want to stop our battle? Lu Xiaoyu questioned. No. Lei Tsong shook his head and said solemnly, the Sky Guards Battalion has summoned the 10 Sky Guards to discuss something. Summoning the 10 Sky Guards? Lu Xiaoyu, Zhao Feng, and the other youths were shocked. The Sky Guards Battalion had always been free to spar and didn't care about these youths. But this time, what did the Sky Guards Battalion want to discuss with the 10 Sky Guards? Not long later, Zhao Feng followed Lei Tsong and Lu Xiaoyu into the building in the middle of the barren land. There was only one building in the entire barren land, and it was the place where the Sky Guards Battalion's manager lived. Entering the building, there were already a few youths sitting inside. Some of them were even at the peak of the 6th level. They were all members of the 10 Sky Guards. Only Zhao Feng was an unfamiliar face, and he only had a cultivation of the 5th level. Who's this kid? A few youths looked at Zhao Feng with disdain. He's a new member of the Sky Guards who replaced Li Changfeng, Lu Xiaoyu said expressionlessly. Defeated Li Changfeng? This kid was also a member of the 10 Sky Guards. Only then did the youths put away their disdain. The members of the 10 Sky Guards arrived one after another. Soon, 9 youths including Zhao Feng had gathered, with Lei Tsong being the strongest. Why isn't Feng Hanyue here? Some people asked in confusion. Even if he's invincible, he wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. Feng Hanyue was the #1 genius of the 10 Sky Guards. Just as everyone was discussing in bewilderment, a handsome and slender young man walked into the pavilion. His silver hair fluttered in the wind, and his handsome face was as perfect as marble, exuding a fatal temptation to the opposite sex. At first glance, Zhao Feng almost thought it was a girl. But when the aura of this handsome youth was released, Zhao Feng felt an immense pressure that made it hard for him to breathe. The handsome youth exuded a formless aura with every movement. The inner strength in his body could rush out of his body with just a thought and kill his enemies from a distance. Hiss. Zhao Feng sucked in a cold breath and his face was filled with shock. Feng Hanyue's aura wasn't that of a martial artist, but a 7th rank martial master. 7th rank of the martial path. All the youths of the 10 Sky Guards were in awe, including Lu Xiaoyu and Lei Kang. They didn't dare to look at Feng Hanyue's eyes. So strong. He's not even 16 yet and he's already a martial master. Zhao Feng's shock was indescribable. According to his experience in Sun Feather City, most martial artists would be stuck at the peak of the 6th rank for their entire lives, unable to break through to the 7th rank. For example, many of the youths in the 10 Sky Guards were at the peak of the 6th rank, but they would be stuck at this rank for more than 10 years, unable to break through to the breaking chi stage. Therefore, most of the martial Dao masters that could be seen were over 40 years old. But there was such a genius in the Sky Guards Battalion who had become a martial master before the age of 16. Feng Hanyue appeared like a king as he scanned the crowd. He only stopped for a second when he saw the unfamiliar face of Zhao Feng. After becoming a martial master, any martial artist was no different from an ant in his eyes. Even geniuses like Lei Tsong and Lu Xiaoyu were nothing in his eyes. Chapter 69. The 10 Sky Guards appeared one by one and the geniuses started to discuss. Why did the manager of the Sky Guards unit call us here? I heard that Lord Guanjuan will be coming out of seclusion in a month. I wonder if it has anything to do with this. Some of the smart youths already had their guesses. The Sky Guards unit had always been an independent organization in the Guanjuan Palace. There were 2 purposes for this organization, to nurture geniuses and to provide new blood for the Guanjuan Guards. The founder of this organization was Lord Guanjuan himself. Everyone is here. A calm voice rang out in the pavilion. Schwa. The eyes of the youths blurred and a young man appeared at the head of the table. Greetings Lord 3rd Guard. The youths of the 10 Sky Guards all bowed, including Feng Hanyue. Their eyes were filled with respect. 3rd Guard was a code name that represented the dull youth. It was also the code name of the Guangjun Guards. Everyone knew that Lord Guanjuan had 18 Guanjuan guards under him. They were hidden in the shadows and helped Lord Guanjuan. They were also sent to various places to gather information. Any one of the Guanjuan guards was a martial Dao master, and even the weakest of the 18 guards were stronger than normal martial Dao masters. The Guanjuan guard that had appeared at the Sun Feather Summit was ranked 17 and had beaten the Chiu family elder to a pulp. Third guard was ranked third in the Guanjuan guards, and his strength was unfathomable. You should all know that Lord Guanjuan will be coming out of seclusion in a month. The young man spoke succinctly and went straight to the point. We know. Of course we know. The youths nodded with anticipation in their eyes. Lord Guanjuan was a legendary figure in the Cloud Country. He had been unrivaled in the world for tens of years, and his name had even spread to the neighboring countries. I have news to announce. Lord Guanjuan will be taking in core disciples, and he might choose one or a few of you. The young man revealed a rare look of envy. Lord Guanjuan is taking in core disciples. As soon as he finished speaking, all the youths present exclaimed in excitement. Their faces were flushed with excitement and yearning. If a normal cultivator could see Lord Guanjuan, they would die with no regrets. If he could get Lord Guanjuan's guidance, that would be a dream come true. Becoming a direct disciple of Lord Guanjuan was something that he didn't even dare to dream of. After all, Lord Guanjuan was the most powerful person in this land, and it was said that he had touched upon the martial saint realm. Zhao Feng's face also revealed a look of excitement. Looks like coming to the Guanjuan Palace this time was indeed the right choice. Here, he could interact with elites from all over the world and make friends with those at the peak of the martial path. Now, he even had the chance to meet the legendary Lord Guanjuan. There's still 1 month left. In this 1 month, you must make ample preparations. For this reason, the Sky Guards Battalion will provide you with a chance to experience actual combat. The corners of the young man's mouth curled into a smile as he spoke. Experience? What kind of experience was that? Everyone was puzzled, but they were also filled with anticipation. Being in the Sky Guards Battalion, they had plenty of opportunities to spar and learn from one another, but they had very little experience in actual combat. Recently, there has been a group of bandits roaming around the borders of Guanjuan City. They are all at least martial warrior level and are extremely fierce. They are suspected to be scouts from the neighboring Maple Fire country. Your mission is to exterminate this group of bandits and protect the safety of the nearby villages. The young man explained. Bandits? Enemy country scouts? The youths present were all puzzled, but most of them had an eager look in their eyes. Third guard, why didn't the Guanjuan Palace send troops and martial artists to eliminate these bandits? Lei Tsong asked with a calm expression. Good question. The young man explained, these bandits are very cunning and they roam around everywhere. Some even disguise themselves as normal citizens. If we send troops, it will be very difficult to eliminate them and the efficiency will be very low. Therefore, the Guanjuan Palace has given this opportunity to you youths. Hearing this, Zhao Feng couldn't help but have a look of understanding. The Guanjuan Palace gave this mission to the youths of the Sky Guards Battalion to give them a chance to experience actual combat. I hope that through this battle, you will be able to unleash more of your potential. The Guanjuan Palace has set up a reward. Every time you kill a Martial Path 4th rank bandit, you will get 1 battle point. Killing a Martial Path 5th rank bandit will give 2 battle points. Killing the bandit leader will give 20 battle points. Those who are at the top of the rankings will get extra rewards. The young man continued. May I ask, what is the use of battle points? One of the youths asked. With the battle points, you can go to the treasure hall and exchange them for martial arts manuals, treasures and even weapons. For example, 1 battle point can be exchanged for a 500-year-old blood ginseng, 10 battle points can be exchanged for a top-tier martial arts manual. 50 battle points can be exchanged for a half-holy martial arts manual. The young man replied. At the end, the group of youths felt their blood boil. They were extremely excited, and they rubbed their fists. Top-tier martial arts manual. Half-holy martial arts manual. All the youths present were captivated. All of the youths present more or less knew a top-tier martial arts manual, but it was limited to attack, movement, or mental cultivation methods. Therefore, top-tier martial arts were very tempting to all of them. As for half-holy martial arts, that was even more so. Although a half-saint martial technique was not a true saint martial technique, it was a complete set of martial techniques that surpassed the peak. There was an incomplete holy martial art in the dimension of Zhao Feng's left eye, but it wasn't even as useful as a peak-ranked martial art, let alone a half-holy martial art. Moreover, he could exchange for other heavenly materials and earthly treasures, divine weapons, and sharp weapons with many uses. Killing a few bandits will give us battle points to exchange for something so precious. Looks like the Guanjuan Palace is determined to nurture the youths of the Sky Guards camp. Zhao Feng thought to himself. He was naturally looking forward to this mission. Especially with the existence of his left eye, it would definitely increase his chances of survival in battle. The mission will begin in 5 days, you should all prepare yourselves. The young man explained a few more details before announcing the end of the meeting. After the meeting, the news spread throughout the Sky Guards camp. This mission was targeted at the entire Sky Guards camp, not just the 10 Sky Guards. Of course, the 10 Sky Guards would be the leaders in this mission. In the next few days, the members of the Sky Guards unit started to meet up with each other, forming small teams to share the spoils of the mission. The stronger teams included Lei Tsong's team and Lu Xiaoyu's team. Each team had 7 to 8 people and all of them were martial artists. Of course, there were also lone wolves, such as the number 1 of the 10 Sky Guards, Feng Hanyue. Feng Hanyue was the only martial Dao master among the youths. His strength alone was greater than an entire team. Zhao Feng had just joined the Sky Guards camp and was considered a newcomer, so he formed a team with Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi. Zhao Feng's team naturally couldn't compare to Lei Tsong and Lu Xiaoyu's team. But Zhao Feng was confident that his battle points would be among the best. A few days before the mission, Zhao Feng went into seclusion to cultivate. After absorbing the energy of the 1,000-year blood ginseng, Zhao Feng ate a 1,000-year blood lingji. 3 days later, the inner strength in Zhao Feng's body had increased by almost half. His cultivation had reached a new peak. In the dimension of his left eye, the light green spiral had extended to 6 feet and 95 inches. At this time, Zhao Feng only had 1,000-year blood bamboo left, but he didn't eat it rashly. First, if he ate too many treasures, the effect would be reduced, not to mention that he hadn't fully absorbed the energy of the 1,000-year blood lingji. Second, Zhao Feng wanted to use the remaining 1,000-year blood bamboo at a critical time. If it could help him break through to the 7th rank of the martial path, that would be the best. My cultivation has reached the peak of the 6th rank, but I'm still a bit away from the peak. Zhao Feng calculated in his heart. Thus, he was looking forward to the upcoming mission. Through actual combat, especially life and death battles, one could greatly stimulate one's potential. 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. The pleasant surprise was that Zhao Yufei had broken through to the 6th rank 2 days ago. Of course, Zhao Feng's 500-year blood ginseng and blood accumulating pill played a role, but Zhao Yufei's talent also played a key role. That morning, the geniuses of the Sky Guards battalion that had reached the 4th rank and above split into small groups and left the Guanjuan Palace. Zhao Feng, Zhao Yufei, and Huang Qi's group were also among them. Brother Zhao Feng, is your true cultivation only at the peak of the 5th rank? Zhao Yufei questioned. She was very clear about Zhao Feng's cultivation speed when they were in the Zhao clan. Now that she had broken through to the 6th rank, how could Zhao Feng still be at the peak of the 5th rank? Hearing this, Huang Qi's expression also changed. That's right, this isn't my true cultivation. Zhao Feng didn't hide it, and a dense aura spread out from his body. Peak of the 6th rank. Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei both felt a trace of pressure. Zhao Feng's aura was extremely dense, and gave off even more pressure than a normal peak of the 6th rank. After releasing his aura, Zhao Feng activated his withered tree breathing technique, controlling it to be at the initial 6th rank, keeping the same level as Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi. Zhao Feng revealed his true cultivation aura to let his teammates have a general understanding of his true strength, so that they could trust and cooperate better. Now that he was hiding part of his aura, it was to hide his leading position in the team, so that he could catch them off guard during the mission. 5 days later, everything was ready. Zhao Feng and the other two left the Guanjuan Palace, and after traveling for a few days, they finally reached the buffer zone at the border of the Guanjuan Palace. This was a complicated area, bordered by the sky cloud forest, and there were rivers, mountains, and a few small towns in between. However, this area was also accessible to the neighboring Maple Fire country, so it was difficult to distinguish between bandits and scouts. Once we leave this town, we will enter the dangerous area where the bandits and scouts roam. Zhao Feng opened the map and started to discuss with Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi. Hee, Miss Yufei, are you interested in joining my team? A clear laughter sounded. Zhao Feng and the other two looked over, only to see Lu Xiaoyu leading a team of 7 to 8 people, passing by. Chapter 70. Lu Xiaoyu's voice made Zhao Feng furrow his brows. Was he trying to poach them? Of course, he had to admit that Lu Xiaoyu's team was strong. There were 4 of them in the 6th rank of the martial path, and the weakest was at the peak 5th rank. Furthermore, there were 2 10 sky guards and one of them was ranked 7th, which was even higher than Zhao Feng. Lu Xiaoyu had a friendly smile on his face as he sized up the beautiful and pure Zhao Yufei. He was also stunned by her beauty. Which genius in the Sky Guards battalion didn't know about Zhao Yufei? I have my own team. Thank you for your good intentions. Zhao Yufei was cold and indifferent as she immediately rejected Lu Xiaoyu's request. Reject? Weren't beauties supposed to rely on the strong? Lu Xiaoyu was slightly surprised. He had a fair complexion and a refined manner. Coupled with his astonishing cultivation and talent, which girl of the same age could refuse his invitation? With the strength of your team, I'm afraid you won't be able to protect yourselves. Lu Xiaoyu glanced at Zhao Feng and Huang Qi with disdain. Thank you for your concern. We have our own way of surviving. We'll talk about our battle points. Zhao Feng said. Battle points? Ha, this kid dares to challenge us. A youth with tattoos on his body laughed so hard that tears were about to come out of his eyes. The youth with tattoos was called Li Ziwen and he was ranked 7th among the 10 Sky Guards. After staying in the Sky Guards battalion for a few days, Zhao Feng knew the 10 Sky Guards like the back of his hand. Let's go. Zhao Feng ignored Lu Xiaoyu's team and led Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi towards the direction of the bandits. At the starting point, they met the teams led by Lei Tsong and the other geniuses one after another. Lei Tsong's team was stronger with more than 10 people and 2 of the 10 Sky Guards. Facing such a lineup, Huang Qi, who was in the team, felt somewhat uneasy. Brother Zhao, are you sure you can lead us to battle points? Huang Qi could not help but ask. After all, in terms of numbers, Zhao Feng's team only had 3 people. If they were unlucky and encountered a gang of 10 bandits, they would be in danger of being annihilated. Don't worry. If you follow me, you won't lack battle achievements. Zhao Feng looked calm and added, if you don't believe me, you can transfer to another team. Seeing Zhao Feng's confident expression, Huang Qi relaxed a little. However, he was still a little apprehensive and suspicious. An hour later, the 3 of them entered the bandits' territory. The terrain of this chaotic region was complicated. Zhao Feng led the way in front, but he didn't even look back. He was unusually decisive. From time to time, Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi would take out their maps to verify their directions for fear of getting lost. But Zhao Feng didn't need it at all. In his mind, every detail of the map appeared Combined with the long-distance observation of his left eye, he could almost form a real map. Brother Zhao, where are we going? Huang Qi felt a little dizzy as he held the map. There's a small river up ahead. It's next to a forest and a valley. Bandits definitely need food and water to survive in this area. Zhao Feng said without hesitation. Soon, a small river appeared in front of them. There was a forest nearby and a valley further away. Huang Qi couldn't help but click his tongue. He didn't expect Zhao Feng's memory to be so good. More importantly, he was able to perfectly combine the map with the real environment. We'll set up an ambush here. Huang Qi, hide in the river. Yufei, hide behind the rocks at the entrance of the valley. Zhao Feng quickly assigned the tasks. Zhao Yufei didn't doubt it. Her figure flashed and she hid behind the rocks. Huang Qi hesitated for a moment, but he still did as he was told and jumped into the river. Seng. Zhao Feng's figure jumped and he hid on a tree near the river. He took out his golden stairs bow and aimed it at the valley. In reality, his left eye had already discovered suspicious people coming from the valley. After a while, light footsteps came from the valley. A few burly men dressed like commoners laughed and flew forward. There were a total of 3 people. The leader was a long-faced man with a cultivation at the peak of rank 5. On his left and right were 2 farmers, one fat and one skinny, respectively at rank 4 and rank 5. They came to the river and squatted down to drink water and wash their faces. Attack! Zhao Feng stood on the tree and pulled his bowstring. A golden arrow pierced through the sky like lightning and drew an arc in the air. Ah! One of the skinny men had his shoulder pierced by the arrow and he fell to the ground, losing his ability to fight. Ambush! The horse-faced man cried out in alarm as he surveyed his surroundings with a wary expression. Whoosh! At this moment, a black-clothed youth jumped out of the river. Soaring cloud palm. Huang Qi's palm that could split the clouds and break the waves came from the side, clashing head-on with the horse-faced man. His first move was the top-notch palm technique that he was most proficient in. Pa! The long-faced man was caught off guard and took the attack head-on. His blood and chi shook and he rolled on the ground, suffering some light injuries. 13 willow leaf kicks. Huang Qi followed up and combined his high-rank leg technique to further pressure the man. Ma-san, I'll help you. The chubby man attacked from the side. Whoosh! At this moment, another arrow pierced through the air and brushed past the fat man's clothes. So close. The fat man rolled and barely dodged the arrow. Be careful of the hidden archer. The skinny man who was injured by the arrow cried out in pain. Zhao Feng's arrow had pierced his shoulder and he couldn't use it for a while. You retreat first and report back. The long-faced man barely withstood Huang Qi's attack and said to the fat man. Ma-san, be careful. The fat man turned and ran towards the valley. Where do you think you're going? An elegant and beautiful girl jumped out from the rocks beside the canyon. She turned into a purple blur and intercepted the fat man. For a moment, Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei were fighting. Huang Qi's opponent, the long-faced man, had reached the peak of the 5th rank and was ruthless in battle. The fat man that Zhao Yufei fought had practiced a defensive martial art. He was hard to injure and had great strength. Zhao Feng stood in the forest, holding the golden stairs bow and didn't attack again. The reason why he didn't attack was because he considered that Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi lacked life and death battle experience. These 2 bandits were cunning and ruthless. Even if their cultivation was lower than Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi, they didn't lose immediately. About 10 moves later. Spirit Wind Cut. Zhao Yufei used a top-ranked martial art and knocked the fat man out. The long-faced man that Huang Qi faced was more difficult to deal with. It took him 20 moves before he was heavily injured and lost the ability to fight. Whoosh! At this moment, Zhao Feng jumped out of the forest. Why didn't you attack just now? Huang Qi was a little annoyed. Zhao Feng only shot 2 arrows at the beginning and didn't provide any support, causing them to have a tough battle. You guys need to reflect on how long it took to win against someone with a lower cultivation. Zhao Feng said calmly. Huang Qi was speechless, but he couldn't retaliate. He was almost at a disadvantage when he defeated the long-faced man. If it wasn't because he had an absolute advantage in cultivation and martial arts, he would be the one who lost. Brother Feng is right, we lack combat experience. Zhao Yufei nodded in agreement with a pondering expression. Next, Zhao Feng began to search the 3 bandits. As expected, he found knockout drugs, hidden weapons, poison, and other items. Lord, please spare me. The bandit that was shot knelt on the ground and kowtowed. Pooh! Zhao Feng pierced his throat with a finger, killing him cleanly. Next, you guys deal with each other. Zhao Feng looked at Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei. These 2 were geniuses since they were young and were well protected by their families. They had never experienced life and death battles, not to mention killing people. Huang Qi struggled for a while before gritting his teeth and killing the long-faced bandit. If he didn't kill the bandit, he wouldn't be able to get any battle merits. Zhao Yufei was a girl, and it was her first time killing someone. Her beautiful eyes were filled with reluctance. Lady, please spare me. The fat bandit cried for his parents, making her even more reluctant to kill him. Zhao Feng only sneered and didn't say anything. Iron Eagle Claw. A cold light flashed in the fat bandit's eyes. He suddenly charged at Zhao Yufei and grabbed Zhao Yufei's throat with his steel-like claws. This sudden change caused Zhao Yufei's beautiful face to turn pale. Fortunately, she was a true genius and her martial arts skills weren't ordinary. At that dangerous moment, her delicate body swayed and barely dodged the fat bandit's attack. Spiritual Wind Slash. Zhao Yufei's face turned cold. She waved her hand and the fat bandit's head was split into 2. Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei both felt like vomiting after killing someone for the first time. Only Zhao Feng's expression remained the same. He was a little shocked. He didn't have any negative reactions when he killed someone for the first time. Back in the Sky Cloud Forest, when he was ambushed, Zhao Feng was extremely calm. Thinking about it, Zhao Feng could only attribute it to the mysterious left eye, which made him extremely calm. The first time they killed an enemy, it was a great achievement for a 3-man team. Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei both comprehended a lot and grew. That day, Zhao Feng and the other 2 continued to lie in ambush nearby, changing positions every time. Until the afternoon, Zhao Feng and the other 2 killed another 6 or 7 bandits. 4 of them were at the 5th rank of the martial path, and 3 of them were at the 4th rank of the martial path. After a few battles, Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei had improved a lot. The team's cooperation was also very good. Zhao Feng nodded his head, this was more like it. Tonight, we'll go into the canyon. According to my analysis, there might be a bandit base here. We've killed 10 bandits, so there might still be some left. Zhao Feng then started to assign tasks. The first was to gather information about the enemy. This task was personally carried out by Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng, who had a powerful left eye, was not only a natural-born archer, but also a terrifying scout. 15 minutes later, Zhao Feng returned. Let's go. Without saying anything, Zhao Feng led Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei into the canyon. On the way, Zhao Feng took a few detours, hiding from the sight of the bandits in the canyon. This gave Huang Qi the impression that all the bandits in the canyon were dead. A while later, Zhao Feng and the other 2 hid behind a large rock. There are bandits in the wooden house in front and in the cave behind. Zhao Feng said to the 2. Ha, another ambush? How strong are the bandits this time? How many are there? Huang Qing rubbed his fists. He had won many ambushes along the way, so he was full of confidence. One at the peak of the 6th rank of the martial path, 2 at the 6th rank, 3 at the 5th rank, 5 at the 4th rank, a total of 11. Zhao Feng said without thinking. What? 11 people. Huang Qing's eyes widened and his face twitched as he said with a trembling voice, "Are you crazy? This is a bandit nest, run." Chapter 71. Are you crazy? This is a den of bandits, run. Huang Qi almost went crazy on the spot. His eyes were filled with rage, wishing he could curse Zhao Feng's entire family. 11 fierce bandits, this was not something that a youth of the same rank could compare to. Even if there were 3 6th-rank bandits, it would be enough to make the 3 of them suffer, not to mention there were so many 4th and 5th-rank bandits. Brother Zhao Feng, this is too scary. Are you sure you're not joking? Zhao Yufei's face was filled with fear. After fighting with the bandits several times today, she understood their ruthless methods. It's not a joke. Zhao Feng hid behind a large rock, retracting his aura, his expression solemn. Run. Retreat, it's not too late. Huang Qi's heart was burning with anxiety. If the bandits found out, the fate they would face would be unimaginable. Zhao Yufei's face was slightly pale. She grabbed his hand and asked, "Brother Zhao Feng knows this is a den of bandits, why did you bring us here?" "Don't be impatient, these 11 bandits are not together. Follow my plan and capture all of them in one fell swoop." Zhao Feng's tone was very calm. "I won't listen to you, I'm going to run." Huang Qi's heart trembled. At this moment, the 3 of them could see the bandits wandering around the wooden house through the cracks of the rocks. "Brother sure. The brothers that went out to scout and hunt have not returned." A large 6th-rank bandit's voice sounded. "For hours, they're not back, they must have met with misfortune." A middle-aged man's deep voice sounded from within the wooden house. "Immediately send people to be on guard, I suspect that the enemy might have followed the clues and found their way here." The conversation of the bandits could be faintly heard by Zhao Feng and the other 2 hiding behind the rocks. "Hee, we have no way out, listen to my plan." Zhao Feng gave a faint smile. Huang Qi gritted his teeth, he hated Zhao Feng to the bone. It was clear that Zhao Feng had brought them here with a plan in mind. "I'll listen to Brother Zhao Feng." At this critical moment, Zhao Yufei's eyes were filled with determination. She trusted Zhao Feng completely. Throw caution to the wind. Huang Qi steeled his heart and prepared to cut off all means of retreat. What's more, Zhao Yufei wasn't afraid, so he couldn't back down. "You 2 kill your way over and quickly finish off the 4th and 5th ranks of the martial path. Don't get entangled with the 6th-rank bandits, especially the peak 6th-rank middle-aged bandit leader." Zhao Feng explained the plan and assigned tasks to the 2 of them. "If the 2 of us kill our way over, what will you do?" Huang Qi questioned coldly. "I'll be behind you, to support you." Zhao Feng smiled strangely. "Bullshit." Huang Qi almost cursed out loud. He and Zhao Yufei were the vanguard, but as the leader of the team, this guy was actually shamelessly hiding in the back. How could he do that? Absolutely not. What if Zhao Feng, the leader of the team, decided to run away? All right. It's decided then. As soon as Zhao Feng finished his sentence, he pushed Huang Qi away with a paw. "Ah!" Huang Qi exclaimed as he flew into the air, revealing himself. At this moment, he cursed all of Zhao Feng's ancestors in his heart. Kill! He had nowhere to hide, so he and Zhao Yufei charged towards the bandits near the wooden hut. "Who is it?" The bandits near the wooden hut quickly noticed the 2 of them and came over. "Men, the enemy is attacking," sounds of killing rang out. Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi flew towards the bandits of the 4th and 5th ranks of the martial path. According to Zhao Feng's plan, they had to quickly kill a few bandits. Once they were entangled, they would definitely die. In this situation, the 2 of them displayed strength that exceeded their usual, and their potential was unknowingly squeezed out. Ah! As soon as they clashed, a 4th and 5th rank bandit was killed by the two of them. Shush! At the same time, Zhao Feng stood on a large rock and pulled his bowstring. An arrow flew through the air, whistling through the air. Plop! A peak 5th rank bandit fell to the ground. What was ingenious was that his arrow just happened to resolve the pincer attack that Zhao Yufei was about to face. Ignorant brats, how dare you sneak attack? Don't even think of escaping. In the wooden hut, a burly middle-aged man in an animal skin coat held a golden broadsword as he led two 6th rank bandits out. Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei instantly felt the pressure. Especially the middle-aged bandit, his aura was terrifying, and his strength was at least comparable to the top 3 of the 10 sky guards. Shush! 3 arrows whistled through the air, drawing a strange arc as they stabbed towards the middle-aged bandit and the two 6th rank bandits. Dang! The middle-aged bandit leader used his saber to block the arrow that pierced through the air. However, the two 6th rank bandits beside him suffered a slight loss, and a bloody mark was left on their bodies. This golden stairs bow is indeed powerful. I only used 70 to 80% of my strength in those 3 arrows, and I didn't even use inner strength. Zhao Feng faintly smiled. He stood on the large rock, looking down from above. Every time he pulled the bowstring, he would reap the life of an ordinary bandit. At the same time, Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi were in a bloody battle, and they might be surrounded by several bandits. Luckily, Zhao Feng was supporting them from afar, so they didn't fall into a desperate situation. I'll leave this man and woman to you, I'll go deal with the one who shot the arrows. The middle-aged bandit could tell that Zhao Feng was the core of the 3, and he posed the greatest threat. He yelled, and with the golden broadsword in his hand, he pounced towards the large rock that Zhao Feng was on. Zhao Feng didn't slow down as he shot out 3 arrows towards the middle-aged bandit and the 2 elites of the 6th rank. Dang! 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 The 3 6th rank bandits blocked Zhao Feng's attack. This gave Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi some time to catch their breath. When the middle-aged bandit arrived in front of Zhao Feng, there were only 4 or 5 bandits left. Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi teamed up against 4 or 5 bandits, and the situation was dangerous. Wave cutter. The middle-aged bandit slashed out, and the golden light on the blade was like a raging wave. The power of the saber had reached the peak of the 6th rank. His opponent's saber skills were close to completion, and his martial arts were close to the peak. This was the most terrifying opponent Zhao Feng had ever faced at the 6th rank. Open! Zhao Feng waved the golden stairs bow in his hand, and he unleashed the power of the metal wall technique. Dang! Bang! The instant the golden light burst forth, the middle-aged bandit was pushed back several meters by a huge force, and he was extremely shocked. Zhao Feng's casual swing of the golden stairs bow not only contained the power of the metal wall technique, but it also carried an indescribable aura that seemed to resonate with the surroundings. Hee hee. Zhao Feng chuckled, and he leaped into the air and pulled the bowstring. Whoosh! An arrow pierced through the air and pierced through the chest of a bandit near the wooden house. This arrow of his just happened to alleviate the crisis that Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi faced. Zhao Feng had killed 1 bandit, and Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi still had to face 4 bandits, including 2 6th rank bandits. It was still a dangerous situation. It should be about time. Zhao Feng didn't plan to help the 2 anymore, and the middle-aged bandit wouldn't let him get away with it. Star Finger. Zhao Feng yelled, put away the golden stairs bow, and engaged the middle-aged bandit in close combat. The middle-aged bandit's strength had reached the peak of the 6th rank, and he was very experienced in all kinds of martial arts. A normal martial artist of the 6th rank wouldn't be able to withstand one attack from the middle-aged bandit. Zhao Feng used the peak of the 3rd level of Star Finger, but he couldn't do anything to the middle-aged bandit. However, his advantage was also obvious. He had reached the 5th level of the metal wall technique, and he was extremely strong. When his attacks collided with the middle-aged bandits, he could even create a rebound force. The middle-aged bandit attacked crazily again and again, but Zhao Feng managed to push him back. But he didn't run away. With his experience, he knew that if he ran away, his chances of survival would be even lower. First, Zhao Feng was a terrifying archer, and running away in front of him was the stupidest thing to do. Second, Zhao Feng's agility was faster than his. The middle-aged bandit swore to fight to the death, and he also hoped that his other brothers could finish off Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi and come to his aid. Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi were indeed having a hard time. The two of them had to fight against two martial artists of the 6th rank, a martial artist of the 4th rank, and a martial artist of the 5th rank. However, they were still geniuses in martial arts, and under the pressure of danger, they were able to unleash their potential and gradually stabilize themselves. Soon, the bandit of the 4th rank was killed by Zhao Yufei. This way, the two of them only had to fight against two peak 6th rank and a 5th rank bandit, which was much easier. The two of them let out sighs of relief as they glanced in Zhao Feng's direction, and they couldn't help but feel respect for him. The ferocious middle-aged bandit was beaten up by Zhao Feng, and there were a few wounds on his body. If it were any of them, they wouldn't be able to last more than 20 moves against the middle-aged bandit. Star Finger. Zhao Feng's mastery of the finger technique had reached the 4th level, and the extremely condensed force seemed to be emitting from his fingertips. Puchi. Another wound was left on the body of the middle-aged bandit. This made him even more ferocious, and his eyes became bloodshot. He didn't care about the price and his injuries as he attacked even more fiercely. The middle-aged bandit was fighting with his life on the line, and he even had the determination to die together with his opponent. This kind of determination and mentality, under the same level of strength, was enough to make his opponent retreat. However, Zhao Feng wasn't a normal person, and when he opened his left eye, he was extremely calm and didn't waver in the slightest. After another 10 moves, the injuries on the middle-aged bandit's body became more and more serious, and Zhao Feng found an opening and tripped him. Plop! The bandit fell to the ground, and before he could even struggle, a finger pierced through his heart. Desperado, you really do have some skills. Zhao Feng let out a breath. Next was the battle between Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi, which was also coming to an end. They knew that Zhao Feng most likely wouldn't help, so they used their killing moves and killed the last 3 bandit leaders. So, Zhao Feng shot an arrow and killed the escaping bandit of the 6th rank. At this point, the base of 11 bandits had been destroyed by the 3 of them. Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei let out a long breath, and fell to the ground, looking at each other with shock and joy. 11 bandits had been killed. The mission that seemed impossible had been completed. The two of them looked at Zhao Feng, unable to conceal their admiration and shock. Because, this was all planned by Zhao Feng. And in the battle, Zhao Feng had been the one to control the situation, and had played an important role. At the same time, behind a rock a few hundred feet away, a dark shadow stood quietly, and inhaled a breath of cold air. These 3 brats actually destroyed a bandit base. Of the 11 bandits, 6 of them, including the quasi-grandmaster bandit leader, were killed by the youth called Zhao Feng. Chapter 72. After the fierce battle, the 3 of them rested on the spot. Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi were both exhausted and had some injuries on their bodies. Only Zhao Feng was unharmed. His face was not red and his heart was not beating fast. This made Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi realize the difference between them, and they felt even more respect for him. What was even more shocking was that when Zhao Feng fought with the middle-aged bandit, he had only used the cultivation of the early 6th rank and hadn't even used his full strength. From this, it could be seen that Zhao Feng was at least a quasi-martial master. The 3 cleaned up the battlefield and distributed the battle points. The bandit leader that Zhao Feng had killed wasn't the real leader, but with his quasi-martial master strength, it was worth at least 5 battle points. In this battle, 6 bandits had died at Zhao Feng's hands. Apart from the bandit leader, there were 2 of the 4th rank, 2 of the 5th rank, and 1 of the 6th rank. This meant that Zhao Feng's battle points had increased by 14, and adding on the previous bandits, his total points were over 20. According to the rules, 10 battle points could be exchanged for a top-tier martial art. Half an hour later. We shouldn't stay here for long. Let's leave. Zhao Feng ordered as the leader. Yes. Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei had complete trust in him and immediately agreed. After the battle, they were filled with respect and trust for Zhao Feng. Whoosh! 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 Zhao Feng and the other 2 sped up and left the canyon. About 4 hours after the 3 of them left. In the darkness of the night, 3 more black figures leaped over from afar. The 3 black figures stopped in front of the wooden house. Leader, Sherbadeo, and the others are all dead. More than half of them were killed by a godly archer. The voice of one of the black figures was cold and emotionless. Who dares to touch the people of the desolate destruction bandits? A muscular figure in the middle slowly raised his hand, and a formless aura filled the surrounding several meters, causing his robes to flutter. The 2 black figures beside him weren't any weaker than the middle-aged bandit leader, but they felt a suffocating pressure. Boom! The massive figure waved his hand, and a powerful aura burst forth, shattering the house in front of him into a pile of rubble. With a single palm strike, the house collapsed, dust and debris swirled in the air, and an invisible wave of qi surged for more than 10 meters. At that moment, the imposing aura of the burly figure was almost comparable to that of a high-tier vicious beast. Lord Baron Cloud. The 2 quasi-martial masters were frightened out of their wits. Find the real culprit, and I will return it tenfold. The cold and rough voice echoed in the night sky and the mountain wind. At the same time, in the bandit zone, a group of mysterious young geniuses split into groups and fought with the bandits, reaping lives. The geniuses of the Sky Guards Battalion all had talent and potential, so they were able to improve quickly in such an environment. Of course, casualties were unavoidable in the battle. Apart from the youths from the Sky Guards Battalion, there were 7 to 8 silver figures that blended into the night to tally the battle points. Although it was late at night, Zhao Feng's left eye was still as bright as a flame. But considering the battle in the day, Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi were tired, so they didn't take the initiative to attack. The 3 of them rested in a secluded area, and if they met a small group of bandits, they would kill them. But that night, there weren't many bandits nearby, which made Zhao Feng feel dispirited. The second day. Zhao Feng's group of 3 started to move again, entering the bandit zone and searching around. What's going on? Why are there fewer bandits today? Zhao Feng noticed something. They didn't kill many bandits, but instead met other groups from the Sky Guards Battalion. Huang Qi fell into deep thought. It must have been yesterday when the Sky Guards Battalion killed many bandits, alerting the other bandits in this area, causing them to be on their guard and hide in the shadows. Zhao Feng nodded his head as he felt that it made sense. If the bandits were hiding in the forest, even his left eye wouldn't be able to find them. How about this, we'll go deeper into the bandit zone. Zhao Feng continued to lead the way. He would occasionally jump on a tree and use his left eye to observe the situation. Suddenly, dozens of miles away, colorful fireworks rose into the sky. It was very eye-catching. It's a signal from the other groups of the Sky Guards Battalion. Zhao Yufei exclaimed. Let's go save them. Zhao Feng took the lead and rushed towards the location. While he was in midair, he used his left eye to look at the situation tens of miles away. His face was filled with shock. Lu Xiaoyu's group was in danger. Lu Xiaoyu's group had 7 to 8 people, and they were blocked by a group of 15 bandits. The bandits had 2 black-clothed leaders, whose cultivation had reached the quasi-martial master realm. Apart from that, there were 3 at the 6th rank of the martial path, while the rest were at the 4th or 5th rank. At this moment, the two sides had already started fighting. The youths in Lu Xiaoyu's group couldn't break out of the encirclement. Luckily, there was a group of 4 to 5 people nearby that gave them some hope. But right at this moment, 3 or 4 bandit archers appeared in the forest and attacked the youths. Ah! Some of the youths had already been injured. Thunderbolt Fist. Lu Xiaoyu used his peak-ranked fist technique to its peak, but he could only force back a few bandits in front of him. One of the quasi-martial master leaders refused to let him go. Head! Here come 3 more brats. An archer in the forest said to the 2 black-clothed leaders. The 3 were Zhao Feng's group. Zhao Feng used his left eye to analyze the best route and he closed in on the forest. When he was within 100 yards, Zhao Feng's speed suddenly increased and he took out his golden stairs bow. Zhao Feng continuously shot the archers in the forest, relieving some of the pressure on Lu Xiaoyu's group and the other group. Kill! The youths and the bandits clashed. With the addition of Zhao Feng's group and the other group, the Sky Guards battalion gradually turned the tables and their morale rose. The youth's talent and potential surpassed ordinary people, and they became more courageous as they fought. A bunch of brats, stay here. A rough and cold voice reverberated through the forest. Whoosh! A strong gust of wind came from the other side of the forest, and an invisible pressure caused the hearts of the geniuses to tremble. The owner of the voice was a tall and robust one-eyed man. He wore a black cloak and had a ferocious expression that caused one's heart to go cold. Not good, it's a martial master. Lu Xiaoyu's face was pale and his heart skipped a beat. The newcomer was a one-eyed man. He was obviously the true leader of the nearby bandit group. Brat! Die! The one-eyed man flew over and his aura made it hard for everyone to breathe. Mountain-shattering palm. The palm pierced through the air, and the brown aura of the fist shrouded Lu Xiaoyu's head. Everyone, block it! Lu Xiaoyu cried out in alarm. Together with the tattooed youth, Li Ziwen, they activated their top-notch martial arts to fight head-on. Boom! The explosion shocked everyone and a gust of wind swept tens of meters. Including Lu Xiaoyu and Li Ziwen, for youths were sent flying 7 to 8 meters. Wah! Lu Xiaoyu and Li Ziwen, who bore the brunt of the attack, vomited blood. The 2 of them were members of the 10 Sky Guards, ranked 5th and 7th respectively. Their strength was around the quasi-martial master level. But even so, 2 quasi-martial masters and several other youths couldn't even block one attack. Zhao Feng, Lu Cheng. Come and help. Lu Xiaoyu exclaimed and asked for help from Zhao Feng and the other group leader. The Sky Guards battalion was split into several groups and the leader of each group was one of the 10 Sky Guards. With the addition of Zhao Feng and Lu Cheng, the number of 10 Sky Guards had increased to 5. Whoosh! Zhao Feng pulled his golden stairs bow from afar and infused his inner strength into the 6th rank of the martial path. The power of that arrow could threaten the life of a quasi-martial master. Illusion Wind Blade. The other leader, Lu Cheng, used a high-rank blade art and slashed from behind. Thunderbolt Fist. Lu Xiaoyu counterattacked, and Li Ziwen, who was beside him, also launched a fierce sword attack. The 5 of them worked together to fight against the one-eyed man. Where did this bunch of geniuses come from? The one-eyed man was surprised for a moment, then he roared and punched out with his palms and fists. The inner strength of the martial path broke out of his body like thunder. Boom! Zhao Feng's arrow was smashed into pieces. Boom! Boom! Lu Xiaoyu and the rest's attacks were also blocked and the youths were sent flying once again. 7th rank of the martial path, what power! Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat. As a martial Dao master, the opponent's martial Dao inner strength could be released to attack people from a distance, and it could even form a range impact. If one of them blocked it alone, they would die in 1 or 2 moves. At this moment, Lu Xiaoyu and Li Ziwen both suffered some internal injuries. The inner strength of a martial master of the 7th rank of the martial path was incomparably condensed. If it was a few normal martial artists, they would be killed with just one punch. Only Zhao Feng didn't need to get close. He pulled his golden stairs bow from afar and every attack was aimed at the one-eyed man's weak points. Zhao Feng used his golden stairs bow to restrict the one-eyed man. Bastard! It looks like you're the one who destroyed our stronghold. The one-eyed man suddenly turned around and his eyes were filled with killing intent. So what if it's me? Zhao Feng sneered. Kill! The one-eyed man ignored the attacks of Lu Xiaoyu and the rest and charged at Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng jumped in fright and immediately used lightly floating fairy to the high level. His speed was faster than all the other geniuses on the field. Where do you think you're going? The one-eyed man's figure was still closing in. He was a martial master after all and his speed was faster than Zhao Feng. Mountain Breaking Palm, the palm of the 7th rank of the martial path, Mountain Breaking Cloud, burst out with inner strength and enveloped Zhao Feng. If it was a martial artist of the same rank, just this inner strength alone could kill him. But Zhao Feng wasn't an ordinary 6th rank martial artist. Mysterious Wind Palm. Zhao Feng's figure leapt into the air, and the young girl's mysterious palm suddenly appeared in his mind. He took a deep breath, and a faint green aura revolved around his palm. It rotated and became extremely sharp, following a strange and natural trajectory, and clashed with the one-eyed man's palm energy. Chapter 73. Boom! Zhao Feng's figure was engulfed in the wind as he leapt out of the range of the one-eyed man's second attack. This palm, the one-eyed man's body swayed slightly in the air. He felt as if his fist energy had collided with a whirlwind. The force of his fist energy was divided and swept away. The intent and profundity of Zhao Feng's mysterious wind palm was extremely high, far surpassing the peak-ranked martial arts. In the past, Zhao Feng's mysterious wind palm had only scratched the surface. But after comprehending the incomplete holy martial art, flowing wind stance, he had made some progress. In terms of power, the mysterious wind palm wasn't as strong as the 4th-level star finger, but it had a suppressive effect. Adding on the fact that Zhao Feng was at the 5th level of the metal wall technique, his defense was extremely strong, which allowed him to retreat safely. Zhao Feng's performance also attracted the cheers of the other youths. It was an honor to take an attack from a 7th-level martial master and retreat unscathed. Brat, you can't escape. I only used 60% of my power in that attack. The one-eyed man's voice sounded like thunder from behind. But Zhao Feng wasn't fighting alone. He had the help of the other sky guards, so he quickly distanced himself from the one-eyed man and pulled on his golden stairs bow. So, this time, Zhao Feng used his archery god's left eye, and the arrows flew in unbelievable trajectories, each one of them accurately calculating the direction the one-eyed leader was going. What? The one-eyed leader realized that the arrows carried a sharp wind that pierced through the weak points of the inner strength he was releasing outside of his body. Puchi! One of the arrows even left a bloodstain on his shoulder. This scene boosted the morale of the youths of the Sky Guards battalion. This guy's a sharpshooter. Lu Xiaoyu and the others were stunned for a moment before they started to attack the one-eyed man. Seng! 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 At this moment, another group of youths rushed over. They were even stronger than Lu Xiaoyu's group. It's Lei Tsong's group. From afar, a bald, silver-robed youth could be seen. It was Lei Tsong's strength was ranked 2nd among the 10 Sky Guards, and his cultivation was half a step into the 7th stage of the martial path. Retreat! The one-eyed leader gave the order to retreat. Without Lei Tsong's team, his bandit group would have a hard time dealing with Zhao Feng and Lu Xiaoyu's teams. Now that an even stronger team had appeared, their chances of winning were even lower. Brat! I will come and take your life at any time. Before the one-eyed leader left, he glared at Zhao Feng with his cold, murderous eyes. Any time. Zhao Feng didn't back down. His left eye glowed with a cold green luster as he stared at the one-eyed leader for a moment. What's going on? The one-eyed leader's figure trembled slightly. He felt like his mind was pierced by an icy blade, causing him to tremble inexplicably. However, he didn't have time to think too much at the critical juncture of retreat. What was that? Zhao Feng felt tiredness coming from his left eye, as if his mental energy had been used up. In that instant, he didn't know what kind of power he had used, but he felt his mental energy being drained away. However, the effect was shocking. He could clearly see the one-eyed leader's panic and absent-mindedness. Slowly closing his eyes, Zhao Feng found that the faint green light in the dimension of his left eye had extended to 6 feet 99, and it was infinitely close to 7 feet. Great! Zhao Feng's face was filled with joy. The battle with the one-eyed leader just now had stimulated his potential, and his cultivation base had advanced to the limit of the 6th layer. Now, his true cultivation was comparable to Lei Tsong, who was ranked 2nd among the 10 sky guards. You want to leave? It won't be so easy. Just as the one-eyed leader retreated a mile, a handsome youth with silver hair appeared in the forest. The handsome youth looked like a girl, and he floated on top of a tree, emitting an invisible aura that swept the leaves around him. Feng Hanyue. The youths of the Sky Guards Battalion exclaimed. It was a youth around the age of 16. He was a martial master of the 7th rank. 7th rank of the martial path. The one-eyed leader and the handsome youth stared at each other. At the same time, he felt powerless. Back then, he had reached the 7th rank of the martial path at the age of 28, and he was extremely proud of it. However, after seeing Feng Hanyue, all his pride and confidence turned into bubbles. Compared to the youth in front of him who wasn't even 16 years old yet, his achievements were nothing. Just where did these youths come from? The one-eyed leader felt that something was wrong. If there were 1 or 2 geniuses appearing at the same time, then it would be a coincidence. But with so many geniuses appearing at the same time, no matter how slow he was, he would know something. Sky Illusion Stance. Feng Hanyue's entire body was covered in a layer of silver qi, reflecting the light of the sun above her head. Her beautiful figure was like an illusion of the moon, flashing in front of the one-eyed leader. His speed made the one-eyed leader, who had reached the 7th rank many years ago, pale. This was because Feng Hanyue had used a saint-grade skill, even if he had only comprehended a little of it. Mountain-shattering palm. He did not hold back and unleashed his top-notch fist skills. His inner qi broke through the lightning and clashed with Feng Hanyue. The two of them grunted and separated. Don't even think of leaving. Feng Hanyue used an incomplete holy rank move and chased after him. The two figures fought in the forest, one chasing and the other escaping. Amongst the youths of the Sky Guards Battalion, only Lei Tsong and Zhao Feng could barely keep up. If I can kill this bandit leader, I'll get at least 20 battle points. Zhao Feng used lightly floating fairy to the maximum, and his peak 6th rank cultivation was also released. Lei Tsong, who was ranked 2nd of the 10 Sky Guards, also chased from another direction. Soon, the few figures disappeared into the forest, leaving behind a group of youths. Just who is that Zhao Feng? He doesn't look any weaker than Lei Kang, some of the youths discussed. Lu Xiaoyu and Li Ziwen looked at each other with shock in their eyes. Before they left, they had ridiculed Zhao Feng's team, but they didn't expect them to be so strong. On the other side, Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong chased after the one-eyed leader from 2 different directions. The one-eyed leader was entangled by Feng Hanyue and couldn't escape. Feng Hanyue had comprehended an incomplete holy rank move, and it was a movement skill, so his speed was slightly faster than the one-eyed leader. Brat, don't push me too far. The one-eyed leader roared angrily. No one knew what kind of secret technique he had used, but his inner strength skyrocketed in the air. Limitless Mountain Breaker. The one-eyed leader unleashed a powerful attack that he had never unleashed before. His inner chi rumbled like a boulder, creating a powerful ripple that clashed with Feng Hanyue's attack. Boom! Feng Hanyue's body shook, and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. He flew tens of meters away and rolled on the ground. Die! The one-eyed leader held back the blood in his throat and charged at Feng Hanyue. Not good. Somewhere in the forest, a dark silver figure exclaimed. It was the Guanjuan core. Shush! All of a sudden, an arrow with a green mark on it flew through the air, piercing through the one-eyed leader's protective inner force and hitting him in the leg. Ah! The one-eyed leader groaned as he felt his leg go numb, and he almost fell from the sky. That arrow had hit an acupuncture point on his leg. If it wasn't for his inner strength, that arrow would have paralyzed his lower body. Damn brat! The one-eyed leader somersaulted a few times in the air, once again activating his violent inner strength, generating power from the void, and dashing into the distance. Zhao Feng had used the archery god's left eye to shoot that arrow, which not only saved Feng Hanyue's life, but also forced the one-eyed leader to run away. Be careful. Feng Hanyue glanced at Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong, then sat down to rest. Soon. Only Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong were left in the forest, flanking the one-eyed leader. But the one-eyed leader's speed was too fast, and the inner strength in his body made his speed even faster. But Zhao Feng could clearly see that the opponent was at the end of his rope. His left eye saw the situation in the one-eyed leader's body, and the inner strength he had used had damaged his meridians and organs. Damn it, this brat is like a ghost. The one-eyed leader gritted his teeth. His speed was fast, and with the help of the familiar terrain, he couldn't get rid of Zhao Feng in a short amount of time. On the contrary, Zhao Feng was getting closer and closer. If that's the case, the one-eyed leader's eyes flashed, and he took a deep breath, calmed down the inner strength in his body, and swallowed a pill. 10 breaths later, Zhao Feng appeared 200 to 300 meters away. Shush! Zhao Feng pulled his bow and used the archery god's left eye. In today's battle, the archery god's left eye shined in battle, threatening a 7th rank grandmaster with his 6th rank. Brat, die! The one-eyed leader suppressed his injuries, broke the arrow with one palm, and pounced at Zhao Feng. Shush! Zhao Feng quickly pulled his bow, shooting 3 arrows at once, and it was as if 3 bolts of lightning flashed in the air. Not only that, each of the 3 arrows followed a different path, and at different times, they broke through the one-eyed leader's inner strength. Die! The one-eyed leader broke an arrow with one palm, and barely dodged the 2nd arrow. He was very close to Zhao Feng. Shush! The last arrow hit an acupuncture point on his shoulder, and his body went numb. The one-eyed leader had a victorious smile on his face. As long as he could get close to Zhao Feng, he was confident that he could kill him in an instant. 1 star finger. The young man in his sight did not retreat, but moved forward, and his body emitted an extremely condensed inner strength. At that moment, Zhao Feng's cultivation at the peak of the 6th rank was far stronger than the condensed inner strength of the same rank. Shush! The green aura spun like a needle, and Zhao Feng's fingertips flickered like a shooting star in the night sky. This was an attack that surpassed the attack of a 6th rank grandmaster. His star finger had reached the 4th rank, and it was even close to the peak of the 4th rank. Flowing wind style. Zhao Feng integrated his finger and body into the wind, and with a mysterious and unpredictable trajectory, he closed in on the one-eyed leader at an incredible speed. The one-eyed leader had just recovered from the numbness, and he had a hideous smile on his face. Seeing this scene, his pupils suddenly shrank. Puff! A green finger force that looked like a star mark swept through the air 2 meters, and hit the one-eyed leader between his eyebrows. Puff! The one-eyed leader's body stiffened, and a bloody hole appeared between his eyebrows. A trace of panic appeared in his eyes, and then the divine light disappeared. Chapter 74. Plop! The one-eyed bandit fell from the sky and died before he hit the ground. Zhao Feng's body landed on the ground at the same time as the bandit. Who? He let out a soft breath, and the faint green glow on the surface of his eyes quickly faded away. When he killed the one-eyed bandit, he had pushed his left eye to the limit and merged the incomplete holy martial art flowing wind stance into his last finger. The mastery of Star Finger was close to the peak of the 4th level, and the power of that finger was comparable to the attack of a 7th-rank martial grandmaster. This was Zhao Feng's strongest attack in his life. The one-eyed bandit never expected that Zhao Feng's Star Finger would reach the 4th level and be able to use Space Finger Force. This was because he had underestimated Zhao Feng, or it could be said that Zhao Feng had caught him off guard. The super ability of his left eye had also caught onto the bandit's flaw, allowing Zhao Feng to use all sorts of advantages and poke the bandit's forehead. After killing the bandit, Zhao Feng crouched down and searched through the bandit's belongings. As expected of a 7th-rank martial grandmaster, the bandit had 2 to 300,000 silver, 2 high-ranked martial arts, and 1 peak-ranked martial art. Apart from that, Zhao Feng also found a bottle of precious, qi-returning pill. This pill was not cheap and could be used to heal injuries as well as recover inner strength. Zhao Feng found a letter in the bandit's belongings. Opening it, the contents seemed to be related to an important figure in the Maple Fire country. Killing the one-eyed bandit and finding evidence of him colluding with a neighboring country. This battle point is definitely worth more than 20. Zhao Feng was satisfied and moved the bandit's corpse to the side. Shush! At this moment, a bald youth in a silver robe rushed over from the other side. Put it down. Lei Tsong's voice was cold and stern as he yelled, stopping Zhao Feng's actions. Brother Lei, what can I do for you? Zhao Feng said calmly. The bandit leader's vitality was greatly injured and he was exhausted, so you took advantage of him. This Lei Tsong will also have a share of the battle points and the corpse. Lei Tsong's face was cold, and his voice carried an undeniable majesty. When Zhao Feng heard this, he was infuriated. He felt that the other party was here to snatch his battle merits. When I met the bandit leader, he still had at least 70 to 80% of his strength, and he was desperately fighting back. Zhao Feng stood in front of the bandit leader's corpse, refusing to budge. In killing the bandit leader, he had also borne great danger. It could be said to be a thrilling experience. How could he give this kind of merit to others? Ha ha ha. Surnamed Xiao, you really know how to put gold on your face. There were no signs of a fight at the scene, and the one-eyed leader was obviously killed with a single finger, unable to resist at all. Moreover, you don't have any injuries on your body. How can you easily deal with the temporary counterattack of a martial Dao master? Lei Tsong sneered again and again. His eyes flickered as he spoke. Indeed, there were too many suspicious points about Zhao Feng killing the one-eyed leader. Firstly, the one-eyed leader was killed by a single finger. Clearly, he didn't have much power to resist. Secondly, Zhao Feng was almost uninjured, and there were no signs of a fight at the scene. Most importantly, when Zhao Feng killed the one-eyed leader, there were no other geniuses present. Even Lei Tsong didn't see the confrontation between Zhao Feng and the one-eyed leader. Tang! Whoosh! Whoosh! More geniuses arrived at the scene of the incident. Everyone was puzzled to see Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong facing each other. When they found out the reason, some of the geniuses present sneered. Kid! Don't try to fool us. Half of the credit for killing the bandit leader is from Lei Tsong's team. Taking advantage of others isn't something to be proud of. Lei Tsong's team was aggressive. Soon, Lu Xiaoyu's team and Lu Cheng's team also arrived. Big brother Zhao Feng. Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi came to Zhao Feng's side. But with Zhao Feng's team of 3, facing Lei Tsong's team of more than 10 people, they seemed to be weak. Brat, I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the bandit leader's body, evidence, and spoils of war, and I'll give you some of the credit. Lei Tsong's tone was domineering and there was an invisible pressure around him. No room for negotiation. Zhao Feng snickered coldly and his attitude was firm. Refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. Lei Tsong's eyes flashed as he slowly raised his hand and was about to attack. All the geniuses present felt like they couldn't breathe. Lu Xiaoyu gloated as he watched from the side. Huang Qi, who was in Zhao Feng's team, had cold sweat on his forehead. Lei Tsong's team was ranked first in the Sky Guards battalion and they had 2 of the 10 Sky Guards. Even if Zhao Feng could fight Lei Tsong, how could Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei fight against 10 people? Whoosh! At this moment, a handsome and slender figure rushed to the scene of the incident. An invisible aura made everyone's heart skip a beat. Feng Hanyue. Even Lei Tsong had a respectful expression on his face as he went up to greet him respectfully. Amongst the geniuses of the Sky Guards battalion, Feng Hanyue stood at the top, looking down on everyone. After the battle, Feng Hanyue's face was pale and it was obvious that his injuries hadn't recovered yet. After Feng Hanyue understood the reason, he said calmly, the one-eyed leader did have more than 80% of his strength before he died. Hua! Everyone exclaimed in disbelief as they looked at Zhao Feng with shock and doubt. Of course, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have had the chance to kill the one-eyed leader even if you all ganged up on him, so I'll take at least half of the credit. Feng Hanyue's words suddenly changed. At least half. Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong's heart skipped a beat. Feng Hanyue and the one-eyed leader were both heavily injured, their contributions were indeed not negligible. Both Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong had nothing to say. Then what about the other half? Lei Tsong asked. I don't care about that. Furthermore, the Guanjuan Corps of the Guanjuan Palace will be calculating the battle points in secret. Feng Hanyue's tone had a sense of superiority. Hearing this, everyone nodded their heads. Before they left, they knew that someone was calculating the battle points in secret. Shua! At this time, a dark silver figure flew out from the nearby forest. His speed was 2 times faster than the bandit leader. Guanjuan Corps. Everyone's heart jumped. The Guanjuan Corps was of the 8th rank of the martial path and he gave off an indescribable pressure. Even Feng Hanyue had fear and respect on his face. The Guanjuan Corps were the personal guards of Lord Guanjuan and each one of them was stronger than normal martial masters. At the very least, Feng Hanyue hadn't sensed the Guanjuan Corps hiding in the dark. Killing the bandit leader of the 7th rank, 20 battle points. Obtaining evidence of collusion, 10 battle points. A total of 30 battle points, all goes to Zhao Feng. The Guanjuan Corps announced coldly. What? As soon as the words were spoken, the crowd of youths had their faces filled with astonishment, each of them staring with their mouths agape. How was this possible? Feng Hanyue, Lei Tsong, Lu Xiaoyu, and the others were all shocked. This Guanjuan Corps' judgment was too biased towards Zhao Feng. The bandit leader was killed by Zhao Feng alone and no one else participated in the 100 breaths before his death. The evidence of the bandits colluding with an enemy country was also obtained by Zhao Feng. Therefore, all 30 battle points go to him. The Guanjuan Corps explained. Everyone understood after the judgment was made. The rules were indeed like this. The bandits' leader was injured and this was due to Feng Hanyue and the other geniuses. But the real process of killing the bandit leader was done by Zhao Feng alone. The Guanjuan Corps' eyes were sharp and he looked at Zhao Feng before he left. Well done. The crowd of shocked youths was left behind. But they couldn't go against the Guanjuan Corps' judgment. There were also a few youths who were deep in thought as they looked at Zhao Feng with wariness. The Guanjuan Corps must have seen how I killed the bandit leader. Zhao Feng thought to himself. The only thing that was different was that the Guanjuan Corps gave him all 30 battle points. One had to know that 10 battle points could be exchanged for a peak-ranked martial art and 50 battle points could be exchanged for a half-holy martial art. Zhao Feng's 30 battle points made the other youths jealous and jealous. Feng Hanyue and Lei Tsong's expressions were dark. Zhao Feng felt the coldness from Feng Hanyue and the warning in Lei Tsong's eyes. Brother Feng, I heard that the person with the most battle points will receive additional rewards. Are you going to give it up so easily? Lei Tsong said to Feng Hanyue in a low voice. Currently, Zhao Feng had killed the bandit leader and his battle points were far ahead of Feng Hanyue and Lei Kong. Let him be happy for a while. Feng Hanyue's expression returned to normal and no one could tell what he was thinking. After this incident, Zhao Feng's name became famous in the Sky Guards battalion. There were some youngsters who didn't accept him and snorted disdainfully, thinking that he was lucky and picked up a great bargain. The mission wasn't over yet. According to the captives, the bandit group they had just killed was called the Desolate Destruction Bandits. In this area, there were some sporadic bandit groups. Among them, the Deadly Wolves bandit group was the strongest and also had a martial Dao master. 3 days later, the Sky Guards battalion killed all the nearby bandits. In the midst of battle, the genius's strength increased by leaps and bounds. On this day, several squads of men and horses gathered together and attacked the headquarters of the Deadly Wolves bandits. The one in charge of gathering information was Zhao Feng. In the depths of the stronghold. How could those little brats find our territory? The leader of the Deadly Wolves bandits stood up in shock. One had to know that the stronghold of the Deadly Wolves bandits was very hidden. Even if one knew the general location, it would be hard to reach the destination due to the complicated terrain. The bandits in the stronghold were also in chaos. After all, the Desolate Destruction Bandits had been killed by those mysterious youths a few days ago. Kill. The Sky Guards battalion's group killed their way up the mountain. Tell everyone to retreat from the back. The leader quickly made a decision when he thought of the mysterious background of those youths. Soon, the 20 to 30 bandits retreated from the back of the mountain. Kill. Shouts of killing came from the back of the mountain. Swish swish. Dozens of arrows were shot from the nearby hills. One of the youths held a golden bow and shot 6 to 7 arrows in an instant. Each arrow pierced through the target and all the bandits who were below the martial master rank died on the spot. How did those brats know about the back of the mountain? The Deadly Wolves leader couldn't help but suck in a cold breath. As he swept his gaze across, he noticed the strange smile on the face of the young man holding the golden bow. His heart inexplicably turned cold. Chapter 75. The youth with the golden bow was Zhao Feng. 2 days ago, he had used lightly floating fairy and his supervision to find out the Deadly Wolves bandits' hideout. He had even memorized all the nearby routes. Today, he was the one who instigated the Sky Guards battalion to attack the mountain. At this moment, the Deadly Wolves leader's eyes met the youth with the golden bow, and he had a feeling that this dangerous situation could have been planned by the youth. Brat, give me your life, the Deadly Wolves leader pounced towards Zhao Feng. Shua! The speed of the leader of the Deadly Wolves had reached a terrifying level. In the daytime, there was a faint blue afterimage that was hard to be seen by the naked eye. In terms of speed, he was even faster than the one-eyed Deadly Wolves leader. So, Zhao Feng's face was calm as he used the archery god's left eye. 3 to 4 arrows whistled through the air as they cut through the air. Some were above, some were below, some were ahead, and some were behind. They locked onto the Deadly Wolves leader's path. Open for me. The leader of the Deadly Wolves had no choice but to launch a powerful green inner strength, which swept across his body like ripples, forming a protective inner strength layer. Puchi! There were still 2 arrows that broke through the inner strength layer, and one of them even cut through his leg, numbing his feet. The Deadly Wolves leader was shocked that there was such a terrifying archer in this world. Leave this person to me. A handsome youth flew over from the other side of the cave. It was Feng Hanyue. Everyone, retreat. The Deadly Wolves leader didn't dare to stay any longer, so he used his ultimate movement skill and flew deep into the forest. So, A few more arrows whistled through the air, cutting off the deadly wolves' leader's path, forcing him to stop. Stop him! Lei Tsong, Lu Xiaoyu, and the others also came from different directions. The four geniuses joined forces and forced the deadly wolves' leader to retreat again and again. Feng Hanyue was the main close combat force, while Lei Tsong and Lu Xiaoyu held him back. Zhao Feng was the long-range controller, using the archery god's left eye to attack, which was enough to threaten a 7th rank of the martial path. His attacks were unpredictable, blocking the deadly wolves' leader's path. The deadly wolves' leader was so angry that he spat out blood. In his eyes, the threat from Zhao Feng was even greater than Feng Hanyue. Puff! The leader of the deadly wolves was quickly wounded. Several of the wounds were caused by Zhao Feng's archery attacks. At a certain moment, Zhao Feng suddenly put away his golden bow and leaped forward to attack the leader of the crippled wolves. Good timing. The leader of the deadly wolves was overjoyed. He had long wanted to kill Zhao Feng, this troublesome archer. However, Zhao Feng's lightness martial art was extremely good. Every time, Zhao Feng could stop his steps, and he couldn't get close to him. But now, the other party actually didn't know what was good for them and attacked him at close range. Mysterious Wind Palm. Zhao Feng's arms and palms were covered with a layer of cyan inner strength. It was sharp and fierce, following a strange and natural trajectory, like a whirlwind, it collided with the brutal wolf leader. Boom! A powerful gust of wind instantly engulfed everything within a radius of several meters. Zhao Feng borrowed the force of the wind to leap a dozen meters away, then took out his golden stairs bow. What's going on? The deadly wolves' leader's body trembled slightly. His attack was dissolved by the opponent's mysterious and astonishing palm, and he was even restrained in place for a moment. At this moment, Feng Hanyue and the other two's attacks landed on his body. Wah! The deadly wolves' leader spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot. He was heavily injured and hated Zhao Feng to the bone. What made him even more helpless was that Zhao Feng was extremely hard to deal with. Boom! Shush! 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 Zhao Feng's body was in mid-air, and the golden stairs bow shot a few arrows at the exact moment when the deadly wolves' leader was injured. The deadly wolves' leader had nowhere to hide, and all 3 arrows pierced into his vital acupoints. One of the arrows even went half an inch deep into his heart. Exploding cloud break. The deadly wolves' leader roared, and his inner strength exploded like a cloud. The 3 arrows were blown away, and Feng Hanyue and the others were pushed back a few meters. Then, his bloodied body turned into a blur, and he flew towards the direction of the sky cloud forest. Chase! Feng Hanyue and the others naturally wouldn't give up. The deadly wolves' leader was heavily injured, and his battle power was greatly reduced. This was the best chance for them to obtain battle points. Only by killing this person can I surpass Zhao Feng in battle points. Feng Hanyue and the others all had their own plans. Up until now, Zhao Feng's battle points were far ahead, and killing the deadly wolves' leader was the only chance. Zhao Feng also used lightly floating fairy to chase after the deadly wolves' leader. In terms of speed, Feng Hanyue was the fastest, followed by Zhao Feng, and then Lei Tsong and Lu Xiaoyu. What kind of monster is this guy? His strength is terrifying. Lei Tsong and Lu Xiaoyu looked at each other in shock. However, Zhao Feng's aura had also reached the peak of the 6th rank. Not long later, the 4 youths chased into the sky cloud forest. The bandits' territory was connected to the sky cloud forest, so the 3 didn't find it strange. Zhao Feng knew the surrounding terrain like the back of his hand. No matter how the deadly wolves' leader ran, he couldn't escape from Zhao Feng's left eye. Suddenly, Zhao Feng became the leader of the group, and even Feng Hanyue had to look at Zhao Feng's route. An hour later, the forest area in front of them suddenly turned dark. Zhao Feng's figure paused. His left eye saw a scene tens of miles away. "Sir, save me." The bloody leader of the deadly wolves flew to a towering ancient tree. "What's wrong? You're so useless, and you've even exposed my location." A figure wearing a bamboo hat sat on the tree, his voice hoarse. Under the bamboo hat, a pair of deep blue eyes could be vaguely seen, emitting an aura that could frighten one's soul. Plop! The deadly wolves' leader couldn't resist the pressure from the eyes and knelt on the ground. "Sir, spare me." With his cultivation of the 7th rank of the martial path, he couldn't resist at all. "You've already lost your value." The figure under the bamboo hat waved his hand, and a wisp of gray light that emitted a frosty aura swept towards the savage wolf chieftain. Not good, the deadly wolves' leader was shocked as he used his inner strength to protect himself. Pooh! The surging martial Dao inner strength in his body was instantly annihilated. The gray light turned his body into a pile of black water. As the black liquid flowed, the outline of a human skeleton could be seen. This scene made Xiao Feng, who was tens of miles away, shiver. Just what kind of existence was that figure? He could kill a 7th rank martial path master with just a wave of his hand, and even turn his corpse into black liquid. This was too terrifying. Moreover, the dark blue eyes beneath the bamboo hat seemed to have glanced over at him. Xiao Feng felt his blood freeze, and he almost suffocated. Roar! A loud roar came from near the figure in the hat, and the ground shook. 2 or 3 large high-ranked deadly beasts appeared next to the figure and pounced towards Xiao Feng. The 3 high-ranked deadly beasts weren't any weaker than the double-winged sword-teeth tiger that Xiao Feng had met before. They were at least of the 8th rank of the martial path. "Run!" Xiao Feng's heart trembled as he ran out of the sky cloud forest. Feng Hanyue and the others also felt the aura of the high-ranked deadly beasts, and they quickly ran away. Why are there suddenly high-ranked deadly beasts? 2 dark figures appeared in the sky cloud forest, and they charged towards the high-ranked deadly beasts. Roar! The 3 high-ranked deadly beasts roared angrily as they were beaten by the 2 Guanjuan corps. Around 10 breaths later, the 3 high-ranked deadly beasts fell to the ground, dead. This is the true strength of the Guanjuan corps. Xiao Feng's left eye saw everything clearly, and he couldn't help but click his tongue. After killing the 3 high-ranked deadly beasts, one of the 2 Guanjuan corps members rushed to the corpse of the deadly wolves' leader. What kind of power could turn a martial master into a puddle of liquid? This scene made the Guanjuan corps member take in a cold breath. When he arrived, the mysterious hooded figure had already disappeared. Xiao Feng and the other 2 let out a breath of relief as they ran out of the sky cloud forest. I wonder if the deadly wolves' leader is dead or alive. Lei Tsong and Lu Xiaoyu were unsatisfied. At this time, a Guanjuan corps member flew in front of them. There's been a change in the situation. This bandit suppression mission is over. The Guanjuan corps member said hurriedly. Why was it like this? Why did the mission suddenly stop? Feng Hanyue and the others didn't understand. As far as they knew, there were still some scattered bandits and even scouts from neighboring countries in this rebellious area. Don't ask. Return to the Guanjuan province city immediately. The Guanjuan corps member's expression was solemn. Only Xiao Feng was deep in thought. This must have something to do with the mysterious hooded figure. The hooded figure's power had probably exceeded the limits of the human body, and he could easily turn a martial master into a puddle of black liquid. On the same day, under the command of 7 or 8 Guanjuan corps members, the geniuses of the Sky Guards Battalion returned the way they came. After leaving the area, the Guanjuan corps members let out a breath of relief. But for some reason, Xiao Feng felt as if a pair of invisible eyes were coldly staring at them from the shadows. In the dimension of his left eye, a pair of eerie blue eyes appeared out of nowhere, shocking him to the core. A few days later, the geniuses of the Sky Guards Battalion returned to the Guanjuan province city. Only when they returned to Guangjuan Prefecture did the uneasy feeling of being watched disappear. The Guanjuan province city was the territory of the powerful Lord Guanjuan. Everyone would be wary of him. In the Sky Guards battalion, 3rd Guards started to calculate the battle points. Feng Hanyue, 45 battle points. Lei Tsong, 32 battle points. Lu Xiaoyu, 26 battle points. The battle points of the 10 Sky Guards were announced one by one. Most of the 10 Sky Guards had around 20 battle points. Finally, it was Zhao Feng's turn. Zhao Feng, 72 battle points. Thinking up to here, 3rd Guard's pupils constricted as he was surprised. But the battle points were calculated by the Guanjuan Corps and 3rd Guard was one of the Guanjuan Corps, so he knew that there was no mistake. 72 battle points. All the youths sucked in a breath of cold air. With this amount of battle merit, he was far ahead of them. One had to know that some of the geniuses didn't even have more than 10 battle points. If I could kill the leader of the 7th rank, I might be first. Many of the youths in the Sky Guards battalion weren't convinced. Soon, the battle points were announced and Huang Qi and Zhao Yufei of Zhao Feng's team also received 20 battle points, which wasn't any less than Lu Xiaoyu and the others. This made Lu Xiaoyu and Li Ziwen's expressions turn ugly. Before they left, they had laughed at the survival ability of Zhao Feng's team and this scene was like a slap to their faces. Zhao Feng, being first in battle points, you have an extra reward to choose from. 3rd Guard left Zhao Feng alone. Chapter 76. Extra Rewards. Zhao Feng's breathing quickened. 3rd Guard, what extra rewards do I have? It's actually a bonus reward. The Guanjuan Palace will give you 2 choices. 1. Increase your battle points to 100, and 2. Exchange all your battle points for a holy martial art. 3rd Guard said. 100 battle points. What? Holy martial art? Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat. The first choice was 100 battle points, which meant that Zhao Feng had more chances to exchange for items. After all, 10 battle points could be exchanged for a peak-ranked martial art. What shocked Zhao Feng was the second choice, which allowed him to exchange for a holy martial art. The Guanjuan residence was indeed extraordinary. They had a strong foundation and could even bring out a saint martial art. Of course, I suggest you choose the first bonus reward, it gives you more opportunities to choose from. Holy martial arts are too early for those under the 7th rank. Even some cultivators of the 9th rank can't learn holy martial arts. 3rd Guard suggested. Zhao Feng fell into deep thought. 3rd Guard was ranked 3rd in the Guanjuan Corps and had always been by Lord Guanjuan's side, so his knowledge and experience were definitely not bad. What he said definitely made sense. If he chose the first bonus reward, Zhao Feng would have 100 battle points, which could be exchanged for a half-holy martial art, as well as some peak-ranked martial arts and resources. As for the second choice, he would exchange all his battle points for a holy martial art. This was a risk, and if he couldn't learn the holy martial art, it would be wasted. Logically speaking, the first choice was more stable. However, holy martial arts were legendary skills, and they had the chance to surpass the 9th rank of the martial path and reach the holy martial path. This was the dream of countless cultivators, who... Zhao Feng took a deep breath, but he couldn't make up his mind. Oh right, I forgot one thing. According to the rules of the Guanjuan Palace, those under the 7th rank of the martial path cannot choose holy martial arts. I can give you 7 days to make your decision. 3rd Guard suddenly added. 7th rank of the martial path. Zhao Feng nodded solemnly. Since that was the case, he would let the heavens decide. After the mission, his cultivation had reached the peak of the 6th rank. His various states had reached the peak of the 6th rank. 7 days. If he could break through to the 7th level, Zhao Feng would choose the second reward. However, if he failed to break through, he could only choose the first reward. After making his decision, Zhao Feng quickly returned to his wooden house. After the bandit suppression mission ended, all the genius youths headed to the treasury hall to choose martial arts, natural treasures, or divine weapons they liked. Only Zhao Feng remained in seclusion in his wooden hut. That afternoon, Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi returned with a full load. Zhao Yufei chose a top-notch movement technique and exchanged for several spiritual materials to assist in her cultivation. The other young geniuses also had their own gains. Feng Hanyue, who was ranked first, and Lei Tsong, who was ranked second, spent most of his battle points on spirit materials. Among them, Lei Tsong had used all of his battle merit points to exchange for heavenly treasures and precious medicinal pills. Ha ha ha, the rare 1000-year firestock grass and the scarlet blood chi pill. I've used up all my battle points, but I'll definitely succeed. Lei Tsong sat in the wooden hut, his face flushed red with excitement. 1000-year-old firestock grass had a domineering medicinal energy. It was much more valuable than ordinary 1000-year-old blood ginseng. The scarlet blood pill could be used to refine inner strength, and it could assist in breaking through to the 7th rank of the martial path. From this day onwards, the geniuses of the Sky Guards Battalion all went into seclusion to cultivate. That night, there were some youths who broke through to the 5th or 6th rank of the martial path. The second day, the third day, some of the youths all made breakthroughs. Especially on the third day, a powerful aura surged out from Lei Tsong's wooden hut. Even from a distance, one could feel the whistling of the airflow. The geniuses of the Sky Guards Battalion were all shocked. On the third night, a terrifying aura came from Lei Tsong's wooden hut, and the shockwaves of inner strength spread out, causing the nearby people's hearts to jump. This was the effect of a master in the 7th rank of the martial path. My God! Lei Tsong broke through. The expressions of some of the youths changed. At the same time, the youths in the wooden huts and tents of the Sky Guards Battalion started to move. On the 4th day, the 5th day, many youths came out of seclusion. This included Lei Kong. The moment Lei Tsong came out of seclusion, the youths of the Sky Guards Battalion all came over to congratulate him. Brother Lei, you're a genius to reach the 7th rank of the martial path before the age of 17. Ha! I won't have to listen to Feng Hanyue anymore. Lei Tsong could feel the respectful gazes from the youths around him. At this moment, Lu Xiaoyu, who was ranked 5th, came over with a smile. Congratulations, Brother Lei. You've become a martial master. Lu Xiaoyu's improvement wasn't small either. His cultivation had reached the limit of the 6th rank, just half a step away from the 7th rank. After exchanging a few pleasantries, Lu Xiaoyu pulled Lei Tsong to the side and whispered something. Oh! Lei Tsong's gaze swept across the 10th wooden hut. That was where Zhao Feng lived. Zhao Feng had been staying in his wooden hut ever since the mission ended. No one knew what he had exchanged for. Only Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi knew that Zhao Feng hadn't gone to the treasury hall to exchange for anything. What was he doing? Even if he was in seclusion, wouldn't it be easier for him to break through if he exchanged for some treasures or pills? At this moment, Zhao Feng sat with his eyes closed. His inner strength was extremely condensed as it flowed through his bones. As he breathed, the aura emanating from his body became even stronger than before. A few days ago, he had consumed the last 1000-year blood bamboo and felt that his body and inner strength had improved. However, Zhao Feng hadn't broken through to the 7th rank. He wasn't like Lei Tsong, who had already reached the 6th rank and was half a step away from the 7th rank. Now, Zhao Feng was half a step into the 7th rank of the martial path. He was just a little bit away. He was nearing the limit of 7 days. It won't be possible to break through to the 7th rank in the next 2 days. Zhao Feng let out a long sigh. The 7th grade of the martial path was a huge chasm. It was a watershed to cross another stage. Many cultivators were stuck at the peak of the 6th rank, unable to take that step. As long as they took that step, they would become a respected martial master. Zhao Feng. Come out and accept my challenge. The cry of a young genius came from outside the wooden house. When Zhao Feng walked out of the wooden hut, he saw a group of people outside. The challenger was a youth who had reached the peak of the 6th rank. The 10 Sky Guards enjoyed better treatment in the Sky Guards battalion. As long as the other geniuses became stronger, they would issue challenges. Alright, let's get some exercise then. Zhao Feng faced the youth of the 6th rank. Soaring Dragon. The youth used a top-tier movement skill and a fist skill that was close to the peak of the high rank to attack Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng stood on the spot with one hand behind his back. He stretched out a finger and pointed forward. Ouch! The youth exclaimed. The power of Zhao Feng's finger was unparalleled and it shook him so much that he almost spat out blood. In just 2 moves, Zhao Feng had taken him down with one hand. What a powerful finger attack. This Zhao Feng doesn't rely on luck like the rumors say. The nearby youths were shocked. The strength that Zhao Feng displayed was enough to be ranked in the top 3 of the 10 Sky Guards. Hee, powerful. Lu Xiaoyu smiled as he walked over. Beside him stood a silver-robed bald youth with a thick and terrifying aura. Zhao Feng was shocked as he stared at Lei Tsong who had reached the 7th rank. It had only been a few days and there was another 7th rank genius in the Sky Guards battalion. When their eyes met, Zhao Feng could feel the hostility and cold smile in Lei Tsong's eyes. That day in the Bandit Chaos Zone, Lei Tsong and Zhao Feng hadn't won and had a grudge against each other, so Lei Tsong was extremely unhappy. What can I do for you too? Zhao Feng wasn't afraid. He had been frustrated for the past few days and sparring with others was a good way to vent his frustration. Kid surnamed Zhao, you have the highest battle merit in the bandit suppression mission. How awe-inspiring. I would like to learn a thing or two from you. Lei Tsong's eyes flashed. Wait. There's no need to use a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. Lu Xiaoyu's figure flickered as he challenged Lin Fan. You're not my opponent. Zhao Feng shook his head. He was now half a step into the martial master realm and his strength was comparable to a martial master. Since when did you become so arrogant? I want to see how much you've improved. Lu Xiaoyu's eyebrows raised as he used his peak-ranked martial art, Thunderbolt Fist, to attack Zhao Feng. Break! Zhao Feng exclaimed lightly as a beam of condensed energy shot out from his fingertip. It was like an azure needle that slashed through the air and created a shocking explosion. Spatial finger attack. The nearby young geniuses were shocked. Even Lei Tsong, who had reached the 7th rank, was shocked. Puchi. Lu Xiaoyu's thunderclap fist was pierced through by the finger force, leaving a bloody hole in his chest. His body staggered and he almost fell to the ground. Spatial finger attack. You haven't reached the 7th rank? How is this possible? Lu Xiaoyu's face was pale as he couldn't accept the reality. Zhao Feng had defeated Lu Xiaoyu in one move. With the 4th level of Star Finger and Zhao Feng's current cultivation, his power was close to the 7th rank of the martial path. Zhao Feng, your strength has exceeded my expectations. You've mastered the spatial finger attack before the 7th rank. However, it's far from enough in front of a true chi-breaking stage overlord. Lei Tsong calmly and confidently walked over. After advancing to the 7th stage, whether it was the quantity or the quality of his inner strength, he had far surpassed a martial artist of the chi accumulation stage. With every movement he made, he emitted an invisible pressure. Cut the crap. If you want to fight, let's fight. Zhao Feng wasn't afraid at all. Good. Lei Tsong didn't get angry. As he spoke, a silver aura rose from his body and formed an invisible wind that swept across a radius of 8 meters. That kind of power was enough to make martial artists who were close to him breathless. Absolute wind palm. Lei Tsong's aura of the 7th rank of the martial path was fully unleashed. As he struck out with his palm, a silver gust of wind appeared and enveloped Zhao Feng's entire body. Star Finger Attack. Zhao Feng's fingertip emitted an azure energy that was like a meteor that pierced through the air and clashed with Lei Tsong's palm. Boom! As the two forces collided, a thunderous roar sounded and a wave of dust rose 10 meters into the air. Chapter 77. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong's clash was like lightning, causing dust to fly everywhere. The shockwave caused the nearby youths to dodge. Star Finger. Zhao Feng advanced instead of retreating. His left eye had a strong penetrating power, and it could see the changes in inner strength and blood in the area. Poof! 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 Zhao Feng's star finger was close to the pinnacle of the 4th level, and it could be said that he had reached the pinnacle of the 4th level. In an instant, he could unleash tens of finger attacks, which caused explosions to ring out. One could only see the finger marks flickering like stars with the naked eye. Every finger attack was ear-piercing, and it pursued the pinnacle of attack power. In this short period of time, Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong were in a stalemate. Lei Tsong's advantage lay in his boundless martial path inner strength. His chi could engulf the clouds, and his might was vast. He could even form an area of effect shock wave. Reaching the 7th rank of the martial path made his inner strength more profound, but because he had just reached the 7th rank, he couldn't compare to Zhao Feng in terms of using his inner strength. Zhao Feng had already trained his star finger technique, so his attacks were extremely condensed. The occasional star finger could threaten those at the 7th rank of the martial path. In terms of attack speed, Zhao Feng's finger attacks were also extremely fast, and he had the upper hand in this battle. Absolute wind breaking the heavens. Lei Tsong's palm attack's power increased as his inner strength roared and swept a few meters in front of Zhao Feng. Mysterious wind palm. Zhao Feng's consciousness merged into the girl's palm. After the tempering of suppressing bandits, coupled with the breakthrough of cultivation in the past few days, the mysterious wind palm that he launched at this moment had a bit more power and spirituality. Pa! The two palms clashed together, and Zhao Feng's palm was like a whirlwind that tore apart Lei Tsong's attack. What kind of palm technique is that? Lei Tsong was taken aback. That palm strike just now was one of the most powerful moves in his arsenal of martial arts. Flowing wind form. Zhao Feng's figure suddenly became agile and graceful, as if he was dancing with the wind. His attacks changed from time to time, from mysterious wind palm to star finger. Boom boom boom, two silhouettes were entangled together, causing dust to fly everywhere and chi waves to sweep wildly. 10 moves, 20 moves, 30 moves, Zhao Feng's inner force became more and more condensed, and the power of his palm and finger techniques increased instead of decreasing. A head-on confrontation with a martial Dao master stimulated the potential in Zhao Feng's body. Unknowingly, his star finger had completely stabilized at the peak of the 4th layer. Even his iron wall technique was getting closer to the peak of the 5th realm. During the battle, the metal wall technique increased Zhao Feng's strength and defense, and it even gave him a certain level of resistance against inner force. Thus, he was able to fight against a martial path master for a long time without losing. After exchanging 100 moves, both of them were panting. Zhao Feng could feel the inner strength in his body becoming more and more condensed, and there was an additional violent force flowing through his body, carrying out more and stronger inner strength. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat. He could feel that his inner strength had improved a bit more, and he was about to break through the last barrier. Today's battle ends here. Zhao Feng's body flashed, and he left the battlefield and returned to the wooden hut. Lei Tsong didn't gain any advantage in the battle and instead felt like he had lost. He finally realized that his cultivation wasn't stable and his inner strength usage wasn't as good as Zhao Feng's. In front of a wooden hut, Feng Hanyue was also watching the battle. "Brother Feng, what do you think of the battle?" a young man asked. "Lei Tsong has just entered the 7th stage, so he's nothing to me. On the other hand, if Zhao Feng breaks through to the 7th stage, he might be a threat to me." Feng Hanyue's handsome face was calm. At this moment, his aura seemed to be close to the peak of the 7th stage, and it seemed that he had improved a lot after the mission. Inside the wooden hut, Zhao Feng immediately sat down and started to circulate the inner strength in his body. After the battle just now, his inner strength and body's potential had been greatly stimulated. At this moment, he could even feel the roar of his inner strength, which was as deep as thunder, flowing through his meridians. Every time he circulated his inner strength, his strength and quantity would increase. The next morning, the inner strength on the surface of his body would occasionally shoot out of his body, and he would improve by leaps and bounds. On the second night, Zhao Feng's inner strength flowed from his body to his body like thunder, but it was not released. Unlike Lei Tsong, Zhao Feng was unable to control the inner strength that was leaking out of his body when he tried to break through to the 7th stage. He had the experience of mastering the 4th stage of Star Finger, so the process of breaking through was smoother and quieter. Success! Zhao Feng took a deep breath and opened his palm, and a wave of qi circled around his arm before returning to his body. At this moment, he only needed a thought to unleash his inner strength, and he could kill or even send a martial artist flying. Only after breaking through to the 7th stage did Zhao Feng understand how powerful a martial artist of the 7th stage was. It only took Zhao Feng one day to completely master the power of the 7th stage, and his inner strength was even more condensed than Lei Tsong's. If he used Star Finger, the inner strength would be condensed like stars, and its power would increase to another level. With the growth of his physique, Zhao Feng's metal wall technique had completely stabilized at the peak of the 5th stage. The metal wall technique was divided into 7 stages. At the 6th stage, one's physique would be further strengthened, and one could use the inner strength to form an iron shield on the surface of the body. The inner strength of a martial artist of the 7th or 8th stage would not be able to break through the defense. According to the description, after breaking through to the 7th stage, one's body would be perfect. Now that Zhao Feng thought about it, he felt that something was wrong. The power of that stage was almost invincible, and it was beyond the limits of a human's body. Unless there was a difference of a few levels between the 6th and 7th stage. Zhao Feng's eyes flashed as he thought of Zhao Yufei's grandfather, the one-armed old man. Back when they traded martial arts, he had held back on the air crossing mantra. The other party might have done something to the iron wall technique because he was old and experienced. He didn't think too much about it. The most important thing now was to choose his reward. Holy martial art. Looks like it's decided by the heavens. Zhao Feng was excited. Today was the 7th day, and he had to reply to 3rd guard. In the building in the middle of the barren land. You've decided to choose a holy martial art? 3rd guard stared at Zhao Feng in surprise. He didn't think that in just 7 days, Zhao Feng would reach the 7th rank of the martial path and become a martial master. That's right. Zhao Feng's tone was decisive. Alright, come with me. 3rd guard didn't say anything else and brought Zhao Feng to the treasury hall. The treasury hall was an important place in the Guanjuan palace. There were 2 martial masters of the 9th rank, 12 martial masters, and dozens of martial cultivators. In order to activate the Saint-grade martial technique passageway in the treasury hall, one would need to go through the examination of 2 9th-level grandmasters to confirm that one met the requirements. Open the holy martial art building. The 2 martial masters were slightly surprised. In the Guanjuan Palace, to open the Holy Martial Art Building, one had to get Lord Guanjuan's permission. Open the Holy Martial Art Building. The wooden youth took out a dark silver token with a hint of gold. Lord Guanjuan token. The 2 martial masters' expressions changed as they stood up and bowed. Lord Guanjuan token represented Lord Guanjuan's authority, and seeing the token was like seeing the person himself. Furthermore, 3rd Guard was one of the top 3 in the Guanjuan Corps, and he was in charge of the Sky Guards Battalion on behalf of Lord Guanjuan. Seeing him take out the Lord Guanjuan token, it could be seen how important he was to Lord Guanjuan. The two ninth-tier masters led the way until they arrived at a metallic building that was made of deep silver. There were no windows in the entire deep silver pavilion, only a red and black door. In the middle of the door, there was a notch. Third guard walked to the door and placed the Lord Guanjuan token into the notch. Wang, the black door of the Holy Martial Art building slowly opened, revealing the space inside. You can only choose one Holy Martial Art. Third guard brought Zhao Feng in and the black door slowly closed. The room was pitch black, but there were about 10 or 20 sparkling jade plates in the room. On each jade token was the name of a martial art. Illusion Wind Technique, Blood Transformation Divine Palm, Heaven Demon Claw, Tiangang Hand, Silver Wall Technique. Every jade token represents a holy martial art. After you choose, you can take one back and study it for 7 days before sending it back. Whether you succeed or not will depend on your own comprehension and luck. Third guard said. Zhao Feng understood that these jade tokens were just a name, and the real martial arts would have to be taken elsewhere. There weren't many holy martial arts in the wooden house, but every single one of them was a holy martial art. If one mastered one, they would have the hope of surpassing the 9th rank of the martial path. Illusion Wind Incantation, a movement technique that can transform into the wind, transforming into a few illusory figures, making it difficult to distinguish between the real and the fake, up to 9 illusory figures, creating mental illusions. Required level, 7th rank of the martial path. Blood Dissolving Divine Palm, when used with a unique chi skill, the user can corrode the enemy's flesh and blood. It is dangerous and domineering. When mastered, each palm can burn the enemy's flesh and blood. It can also form a fatal blood poison and turn the enemy into a dried corpse. Heaven's Demon Claw, a fierce and domineering demonic art. Each claw can crush gold and iron, and it can cause additional damage to the body's bones. Those who have reached the peak can destroy anything. Zhao Feng's heart couldn't help but shake as he looked at them. The power of holy martial arts was indeed terrifying. In comparison, most of the martial arts he had trained before were like children playing house. Suddenly, Zhao Feng saw the name of a jade token, Silver Wall Technique. Silver Wall Technique? Zhao Feng was pleasantly surprised. His Metal Wall Technique was a simplified version of the legendary Silver Wall Technique. Silver Wall Technique, a defensive martial art that strengthens the user's body. The user's defense will be as strong as a silver wall. When cultivated to the peak of perfection, one's body would be perfect, and one's body would not melt even if placed in a furnace, and one's body would transcend mortality and enter the sage realm. Looking at the description, the Silver Wall Technique was similar to his Metal Wall Technique, but it was more powerful. Especially the last sentence. Perfect body, the user's body will reach the Ascension realm. Transcending mortality and entering the Sage realm. What did that mean? According to Zhao Feng's understanding, he could surpass the 9th rank of the martial path and step into the Ascension realm with just his physique. For example, when Zhao Feng's Metal Wall Technique reached the peak of the 5th rank, he could fight against an ordinary 5th or 6th rank of the martial path with just his physique. Similarly, the Silver Wall Technique allowed one to reach the transcending mortality stage and enter the sage state with just their physical strength. No wonder it's a holy martial art. Zhao Feng took a deep breath and looked at the other jade tokens. Chapter 78. Zhao Feng looked around and there were only about 20 holy martial arts in the Saint Martial Arts building, most of which were offensive ones. Among them, Saint-grade martial tactics that focused on body tempering were as rare as a phoenix's feather and a Qilin's horn. There were only 2 of them, including the Silver Wall Technique. Offensive and movement-type Saint-grade martial tactics are definitely not easy to comprehend. Zhao Feng thought. In the dimension of his left eye, there was the girl's mysterious wind palm, as well as the mysterious, for incomplete holy martial arts, flowing wind stance, tornado stance, partial wind stance and burning wind stance. Just these holy martial arts were enough for Zhao Feng to learn in a short period of time. Thinking up to here, he took off the jade token that represented silver wall technique. You chose silver wall technique? Third guard was slightly surprised. In the past, he had brought people into the St. Martial Arts building, but the first thing that people would look at were offensive martial arts, such as blood dissipating palm and sky demon claw. Indeed, such an offensive Saint-grade martial tactic, even if it was only at the elementary mastery stage, it would be able to look down on those in the 9th stage of the martial path and rarely meet a worthy opponent. However, there were very few people who could learn these holy martial arts. That's right. Zhao Feng's eyes were filled with determination. He had his reasons for choosing this body-strengthening martial art. Comparatively speaking, body-strengthening holy martial arts are slightly easier to learn in the early stages. However, the later stages are much harder than other martial arts. The wooden youth smiled faintly. He rather approved of and admired Zhao Feng's choice. Whether it was a martial disciple, martial artist, or martial master, the foundation of the body was the most important. Essence, qi, spirit, and martial Tao inner strength all originated from the body. As long as the body was strong, there would be room for growth in other areas. After deciding on the martial art, third guard took out a book and handed it over to Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng opened the book and saw that the content was silver wall technique. It was 50 to 60% similar to his metal wall technique, but it was even more profound. Although this is only a handwritten copy of the secret manual, you must return it to me 7 days after you take it and comprehend it. This martial art cannot be leaked, otherwise, according to the rules of the Guanjuan Palace, your cultivation will be crippled. The wooden-looking young man warned. Understood. But I don't need to bring this manual back. Zhao Feng said lightly. As he spoke, he stared at the handwritten secret manual and flipped through it quickly. Whoosh! In an instant, the contents of the handwritten secret manual were copied into Zhao Feng's brain, as if they were branded in the depths of his mind, and he would never forget them for the rest of his life. Several dozen breaths later, Zhao Feng returned the handwritten book to the wooden youth. The wooden youth was slightly dazed. I've noted it down. Zhao Feng smiled. What kind of freak was this guy? The wooden youth's eyes were filled with astonishment and shock. He had seen geniuses with photographic memory, but this was the first time he had seen someone like Zhao Feng, who had memorized the contents of an entire book in an instant. After all, there were many complicated diagrams and annotations in the handwritten secret manual. Moreover, there were many complicated and abstruse incantations. The difference of a single word could make a world of difference. Therefore, even geniuses with photographic memory wouldn't dare to be so arrogant. Did he really memorize it? I believe that junior brother Bei will be interested in him. The wooden youth watched as Zhao Feng left and mumbled to himself before letting out a light laugh. He didn't doubt that Zhao Feng had memorized the contents of the manual, because no cultivator in this world could resist the temptation of a holy martial art. After leaving the treasury palace, Zhao Feng returned to the Sky Guards battalion. As soon as he arrived near the wooden hut, Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi looked at him with anticipation. Brother Zhao Feng, what did you exchange for at the treasury palace? Zhao Yufei blinked her pretty eyes, feeling very curious. Everyone knew that Zhao Feng had received the most battle points in the mission, and he had even received extra rewards. That's a secret. Zhao Feng smiled mysteriously and returned to the wooden hut. He didn't want too many people to know that he had obtained a holy martial art. In the wooden hut, Zhao Feng sat with his eyes closed as the contents of the silver wall technique appeared in his mind. As he comprehended it, he compared it with the metal wall technique. The metal wall technique is indeed a simplified version of the silver wall technique. Zhao Feng's eyes flashed with excitement. The more it was like this, the more advantageous it was for him. It was difficult to learn a new martial art from the beginning, and it would waste a lot of time and effort, not to mention a holy martial art. But if Zhao Feng practiced the silver wall technique, he would have a certain foundation and experience, so it would be much easier for him. The silver wall technique had a total of 11 levels. The first 3 levels were similar to the metal wall technique, focusing on strengthening and refining the body, but the chants were more profound. From the 4th to the 6th level, it strengthened the bones and meridians, strengthening the body from the outside to the inside. It would greatly increase the physique and strength of the martial artist, and the defensive method was similar to the metal wall technique. From the 7th to the 9th level, it strengthened the organs and ignited the potential of the human body. It could create a silver air shield on the surface of the body, which could allow the martial artist to pass through thousands of soldiers and escape from thousands of archers. The 10th level, changing the organs, forming the silver air shield, and breaking through to the sacred state. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat as he read up to this point. Reaching the 10th level of the silver wall technique would allow the martial artist to enter the sacred state. The 11th level, perfect body, impervious to fire, indestructible body, indestructible. Zhao Feng held his breath as he read up to the 7th level of the metal wall technique, perfect body, impervious to fire. The 7th level of the metal wall technique, perfect body, impervious to fire. Looks like there's something wrong with the metal wall technique given by the one-armed elder. There are at least 3 levels between them. Furthermore, a high-ranked martial art can't be cultivated to the sacred state. Zhao Feng analyzed. He even suspected that the one-armed elder might have had the silver wall technique, but he didn't dare to take it out. He couldn't figure it out, and he didn't want to pursue the matter. On the same day, Zhao Feng started to cultivate the silver wall technique. Zhao Feng only took 6 hours to complete the first 3 levels of the silver wall technique. He could feel the energy in his body being balanced, and it was an indescribable comfort. Although they were both at the first 3 levels, the silver wall technique was much better than the metal wall technique. From the 4th level onwards, the difference between the 2 defensive martial arts increased. The 4th to 6th level of the silver wall technique corresponded to the 4th to 6th level of the martial path. It wasn't like the metal wall technique, where the 6th level was comparable to the 7th level of the martial path. On the second night, Zhao Feng successfully reached the 5th level of the silver wall technique, and his progress finally slowed down. However, Zhao Feng had the foundation of the metal wall technique, and in the next 2 to 3 days, he reached the 6th level of the silver wall technique. With the 6th level of the silver wall technique, I can defeat anyone below the 7th level with just my physical strength. I might even be able to become a 7th level martial master. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled, and the corner of his lips curled up. His current strength was at least 50% stronger than when he had just reached the 7th rank. This was because martial arts moves and even martial arts inner force were all built on one's physique. After reaching the 6th level, the cultivation of the silver wall technique had slowed down to the point where it almost stopped. Zhao Feng knew that he had used up all the capital he had in cultivating the metal wall technique. If he wanted to improve the holy martial art, he would have to rely on his own hard work. Zhao Feng let out a breath as he walked out of the wooden hut and stretched. He had been cultivating the holy martial art for the past few days, and he realized that the situation in the Sky Guards battalion had changed. In front of the wooden hut, Zhao Yufei's tent was no longer there, and only Huang Qi's was left. 2 days ago, Miss Yufei made it to the 5th rank of the 10 Sky Guards. Lu Xiaoyu, who was originally ranked 5th, also made it to the 3rd rank. Apart from that, there were also 2 other youths who challenged them to become the new 10 Sky Guards. Huang Qi explained the situation. The Sky Guards battalion's mission had changed the structure of the 10 Sky Guards. Some of the more talented youths had also become the new 10 Sky Guards. However, no one came to challenge Zhao Feng these days. That was because Zhao Feng had fought Lei Tsong to a draw a few days ago, which meant that he was now the 3rd strongest in the 10 Sky Guards. Oh right, be careful. Lei Song is coming out of seclusion today, and I heard that he wants to spar with you again. Huang Qi reminded. Lei Song. Zhao Feng smiled, but he didn't put it to heart. His current cultivation was still at the limit of the 6th rank, so Huang Qi couldn't see it. When the deadwood breathing technique reached the max level, he could even fake his death, not to mention hiding his cultivation. Not long later, Zhao Feng found Xiao Yufei in the 5th wooden hut. The two sparred when they met. Zhao Yufei's improvement was indeed not small. She was able to cultivate 3 peak-ranked martial arts at the same time, which were offensive, movement, and body tempering. Zhao Yufei's comprehension of martial arts and the improvement of her cultivation were far superior to ordinary people. She had been sharpened in the battle and her potential was ignited. Now, her cultivation was almost at the peak of the 6th rank. While the two were sparring, 2 youths around the age of 15 walked in from the entrance of the Sky Guards Battalion. More newcomers from the Sky Guards Battalion. A few of the youths were curious. Of the 2 youths, one was chatting casually, while the other had a stiff expression and didn't say a word. Master will come out of seclusion in half a month. I wonder if any of the new seedlings in the Sky Guards Battalion will catch his eye. The handsome youth said with a smile. The old-fashioned young man just listened, his face meticulous, but he didn't answer. The two walked side by side to the wooden hut of the 10 Sky Guards. 6th junior brother, don't you want to meet the elites of the 10 Sky Guards? The handsome youth seemed to be talking to himself. There's no need. The old-fashioned youth finally said these 3 words. You're too direct. The elegant young man sighed, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a slight smile. Who are you? How dare you speak so arrogantly in the Sky Guards Battalion? Lei Song walked out from the 2nd wooden hut and his expression turned cold. TSK, 7th rank of the martial path. Not bad. The handsome youth had a playful expression. I want to see what kind of strength you have to be so arrogant. Lei Song was infuriated. He waved his palm, and a ring-shaped inner strength pushed a layer of dust towards the 2 youths. If it was a normal cultivator, this attack would have sent them flying. However, the 2 youths stood still and didn't move an inch. Fuck off. The stiff youth also didn't move. A bronze-colored inner strength rippled from his body and tore Lei Song's inner strength into pieces. Boom, Lei Song's entire body was sent flying, and with a loud boom, the wooden house behind him collapsed. Chapter 79. Boom. That loud noise alerted many of the young geniuses in the Sky Guards Battalion. Some of the youths who were in seclusion woke up and looked in the direction of the explosion. Who are those 2 youths? They sent Lei Song flying with one move. Don't they know the rules of the Sky Guards Battalion? How dare they destroy the wooden house? The group of youths glanced sideways and were extremely shocked. Zhao Feng and Xiao Yufei, who were sparring, were also shocked by the explosion. The wooden house that belonged to Lei Song had collapsed into pieces. Lei Song himself was covered by the dust and wooden planks. With a furious shout, he flew out of the dust and smoke. How dare you 2 destroy my house? Aren't you afraid of the Sky Guards Battalion's punishment? Lei Song wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and gathered an even more intense inner force in his palms, causing the air currents to howl. We're not members of the Sky Guards Battalion. The youth curled his lips as if it had nothing to do with him. On the other hand, the old-fashioned youth didn't say a word. Absolute wind breaking the heavens. Lei Song was enraged. He condensed his inner strength in his palm and exploded again, forming a sharp wind that tore through the air. He roared and rushed towards the 2 uninvited guests. This move was the pinnacle of his 7th stage martial path attack, enough to kill several martial artists at once. Let me. The elegant youth smiled lightly. A layer of white qi surrounded his body, and with a twist of his hand, a strange and formless palm energy rushed out, unexpectedly sucking away Lei Tsong's powerful attack without a trace. Ah! Lei Tsong felt his body leaning forward uncontrollably, and his face was filled with shock. He quickly circulated his inner strength and used his light body technique to retreat. He, come down. The young man twirled his hand again, and Lei Tsong felt as if there was an invisible whirlpool beneath his feet, dragging his body down. Plop! Lei Tsong's body was sent flying a few meters away by the youth's kick. It looks like the Sky Guards battalion doesn't have any geniuses. The youth shook his head. I've said it before. The old-fashioned youth said. What he meant was, I've said it's not necessary, but you dragged me here. The youth was speechless. The battle ended in an instant. Hiss. The geniuses of the Sky Guards battalion sucked in a cold breath. Lei Tsong, who was ranked second among the 10 Sky Guards, was defeated without any resistance. The martial art he executed earlier has clearly surpassed top-tier martial arts. Could it be? Zhao Feng was slightly surprised. He was sure that the martial art that the elegant young man had used to defeat Lei Tsong was at least at the semi-saint rank. Who said there's no one in the Sky Guards battalion? A cold and clear voice came from a nearby wooden house. Whoosh! A handsome silver-haired youth appeared near the dust cloud. Feng Hanyue. The youths of the Sky Guards battalion were overjoyed. Feng Hanyue was ranked first amongst the 10 Sky Guards, and he had reached the 7th rank of the martial path much earlier than Lei Kong. After Lei Tsong reached the 7th level, he fought with Feng Hanyue and lost in 10 moves. There seems to be a decent genius. The youth smiled as he looked at Feng Hanyue. Feng Hanyue stood on the spot with a silver aura circulating around his body. His silver hair and robe danced in the wind. Whoosh! The silhouettes of the two youths intersected in an instant, accompanied by an explosive sound. The airwaves rolled, leaving a scratch on the ground. Sky Illusion Stance. Feng Hanyue casted the incomplete Saint martial art. His movement was like the illusionary shadow of the moon, overlapping each other. His speed was terrifying. Wind Vortex Art. The elegant young man stood where he was and put his hands together. Circles of white air waves undulated up and down around him like ripples in the water, but the center was getting deeper and deeper. What? Feng Hanyue felt his body being pulled by an invisible force. What kind of martial art is this? My incomplete holy martial art can't even fight back. Feng Hanyue's movement skill lost its effect, so he could only face his opponent head-on. Boom! The young man waved his hands in the air, causing the wind to howl and the white chi waves to twist and turn, forming rings of light that bound Feng Hanyue. Sky Illusion Slash. Feng Hanyue exclaimed as the silver aura on his arm turned into a sharp blade and clashed with the youth. The two forces clashed for a while, causing the surrounding wind to blow. In the end, the youth's inner strength destroyed Feng Hanyue's half-holy martial art. Pang! Feng Hanyue's body flew back 7 to 8 meters, his clothes torn and his face pale. Even a half-holy martial art is no match for him. Could he be training in a true holy martial art? Not bad, to be able to withstand 20 moves from me. The elegant young man smiled and showed a look of admiration. At this moment, his aura was completely unleashed, making it hard for Lei Tsong and Feng Hanyue to breathe. 8th rank of the martial path, Lei Tsong exclaimed. The youth's cultivation surpassed all the other geniuses in the Sky Guards battalion, even Feng Hanyue. 8th rank of the martial path, and a peak of the 8th rank. Zhao Feng's left eye scanned and his heart jumped. The other youth was even more terrifying, reaching the peak of the 8th rank. It was hard to imagine that there was such a genius in the world who was close to the peak of the 9th rank of the martial path at the age of 15. In many people's eyes, the 9th rank of the martial path was the peak, and the Holy Realm was just a legend. Who are you? Feng Hanyue's eyes narrowed as he became cautious. I'm Nan Gongfan, and this is my junior brother. Bei moi. The youth introduced. Nan Gong Fan. Bei moi. The youths present were dazed, they had never heard of this name before. But how could they not know such a powerful genius from the Guanjuan Palace? Brother Nan Gong Fan, Brother Bei, why are you here? A voice sounded from the building in the middle of the field. Before everyone could react, a stiff young man appeared out of thin air like a ghost. Third Guard was the person in charge of the Sky Guards battalion. Greetings, senior brother. Nan Gong Fan and Bei moi both bowed. Senior brother. Third Guard was the senior brother of these two. Lei Tsong and the others rolled their eyes and swallowed back the words they were about to say. Let me introduce them to you, they are the disciples of Lord Guanjuan. Third Guard said to the youths of the Sky Guards battalion. Lord Guanjuan's disciples. The hearts of the young geniuses were filled with shock. They looked at the two uninvited guests with admiration, envy, and jealousy. No wonder they're so strong, they're the disciples of Lord Guanjuan. Many of the geniuses were relieved. I heard that Master is coming out of seclusion in half a month and he might be picking disciples from the Sky Guards battalion, so we're here to observe. Nan Gong Fan smiled. The old-fashioned youth beside him, Bei moi, had a disinterested look on his face. Brother Bei, there are a couple of geniuses in the Sky Guards battalion. One of them might be better than you in what you're good at. Third Guard smiled mysteriously. Hearing this, Nan Gong Fan and Bei moi were both interested. Who? Bei moi's eyes scanned across the geniuses on the field. In their eyes, the only genius in the Sky Guards battalion that was worth their attention was Feng Hanyue. Zhao Feng. A faint smile appeared on Third Guard's face as he looked at Zhao Feng not far away. Does Third Guard need something from me? Zhao Feng walked in front of them with a weird expression on his face. Him. Nan Gong Fan and Bei moi both stared at him. Being stared at by a genius of the 8th rank and peak 8th rank made Zhao Feng feel pressured. Junior brother Bei, your talent is very good, especially your memory. It can be said that you have a photographic memory. Even Master has praised you. However, you might not be as good as Zhao Feng. Third Guard said. Really? Nan Gong Fan was also excited. The two of them seemed to be purposely trying to attack Bei moi. That's right, Bei moi's talent was monstrous, to the point that the two of them were jealous of him. In terms of talent and comprehension, Bei moi surpassed the two of them. Now that Third Guard had finally found someone who had a better memory than Bei moi, he naturally wouldn't let go of this chance. I don't believe it. Bei moi calmly said 3 words. How would we know if we don't compare? Nan Gong Fan couldn't wait even though he didn't really believe it. Soon, the few of them entered the building in the middle of the barren land. The stiff young man took out a martial Dao secret realm and slapped it on the table. This is a half-saint grade martial technique, smoky shadowless steps. Half-holy martial art. Zhao Feng's eyes lit up. The two of you probably haven't learned this martial art before, right? His gaze swept across Zhao Feng and Bei moi. No. Bei moi and Zhao Feng both shook their heads. The rules are like this. The two of you memorize the contents of this martial art as fast as possible. Third Guard said. I'll go first. Bei moi took the book and flipped through the pages. During this entire process, he was completely focused, and his entire body seemed to have transformed into a stone statue while his eyes were as deep as an abyss. Half the time it took to brew tea later, Bei moi finished the entire book and said, you can choose any page or line. Let me. Nan Gong Fan took the smoking transparent step and pointed at a few places. Bei moi memorized them all without missing a single word. This made Zhao Feng slightly shocked. Ever since he merged with his left eye, this was the first time he had seen a genius with a photographic memory. Zhao Feng, it's your turn. The wooden youth said with a smile. Zhao Feng nodded his head and took the smoking transparent step skill. His left eye contracted as he flipped through the pages. Schwa. 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 Tens of breaths later, Zhao Feng gave the book back to third guard and said, "It's done." This fast? Bei Moi and Nan Gongfan were both shocked. The two took turns to point out the contents of several places in the manual, and Zhao Feng read them out word by word. So powerful. His memory is even better than Brother Bei's. Nan Gongfan was extremely excited, as if it was a great thing to beat Brother Bei Moi. I don't believe it. Bei Moi glanced at third guard and Zhao Feng, suspecting that the two of them were working together to trick him. Zhao Feng didn't mind, he had already gotten a half-holy martial art, so he wouldn't lose anything. How do you want to prove it? Third guard asked. Pa. Bei Moi withdrew a martial Dao secret manual and said indifferently, half-saint grade martial technique, returning chi technique. Chapter 80. Half-holy grade martial tactic, returning chi technique. Bei Moi placed the book on the table. Another half-holy martial art, and an inner strength one at that. Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat as he rejoiced. In just a short period of time, he had effortlessly obtained a half-holy grade movement technique, and now, he had obtained a half-holy grade internal cultivation technique. These two half-holy martial arts were perfect for Zhao Feng. The light micro-steps that he cultivated was only a high-level martial art. Even with the help of the air-crossing formula, it was at most equivalent to a top-level footwork. It was far inferior to the smoking invisible steps that the wooden youth had just taken out. As for inner strength, Zhao Feng's lightly floating fairy could only be compared to a half-holy martial art if it was used with air-crossing breathing technique. The chi returning technique that Bei Moi took out was a half-holy grade inner force cultivation technique. I killed a cultivator of the 9th rank from the neighboring country and got this book. I haven't even read it yet. If you can memorize it in such a short period of time, I admit that you have won. Bei Moi said calmly. Killed a cultivator of the 9th rank? Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. Just how strong was this youth in front of him to be able to kill a cultivator of the 9th rank? The weird thing was that third guard and Nan Gongfan didn't question Bei Moi's words. Zhao Feng could see a hint of jealousy in Nan Gongfan's eyes. Obviously, even though they were from the same sect, third guard and Nan Gongfan were both envious of Bei Moi's insane talent. Now that they had finally met Zhao Feng, they were overjoyed to be able to beat him in a certain area. What, you don't dare? Bei Moi's lips twitched. He didn't believe that there was anyone in the Guangzhou province city who could beat him in memory. He was sure that third guard and Zhao Feng were in cahoots with each other, trying to trick him. Okay. Zhao Feng's heart was filled with joy. Maybe to third guard and Bei Moi, a half-holy martial art wasn't that valuable. After all, they were both disciples of Lord Guanjuan and had at least reached the 9th rank. But for Zhao Feng, this was a way to increase his strength. With that, he flipped through the contents of the returning essence chi technique. Whoosh! Whoosh! Swoosh! Zhao Feng quickly flipped through the secret book. An undetectable light green luster appeared on the surface of his left eyeball, which was mixed with his inner strength aura. A few dozen breaths later. Pa! Zhao Feng placed the martial arts manual on the table and exhaled softly, feel free to order anything you like. Let me. A trace of suspicion flashed in Bei Moi's eyes. He flipped open the returning essence chi art and pointed at several places. Zhao Feng didn't hesitate and immediately answered, not missing a single word. Hee, Junior Bei. Don't go back on your word this time. Nan Gongfan's face was full of smiles. So there are times when Junior Bei loses. Third guard said with a satisfied expression. After all, Zhao Feng was from the Sky Guards battalion and he was happy that Zhao Feng was able to defeat Bei Moi. But the person who was happy the most was Zhao Feng. He had obtained 2 half-holy martial arts without any effort. Where else could he find such a good thing? Only Baimua's face was slightly ugly as unhappiness flashed in his eyes. Anyone could see that Baimua was unhappy. No matter how talented he was only a 15-year-old youth and he had always been looked up to by others. When had he ever suffered such a blow? Zhao Feng even saw a flash of coldness in Baimua's eyes and his heart skipped a beat. It could be imagined that this had left a grudge in Baimua's heart. Is it worth it to offend a super genius for 2 half-holy martial arts? Zhao Feng thought for a while. As the saying goes, where there is gain, there is loss. There is no benefit in this world that comes without a price. No matter how good your memory is, it doesn't represent talent. I'll be leaving first. Baimua said expressionlessly as he left. Third Guard and Nan Gongfan looked at each other and smiled. They were happy to see Baimua suffer. Zhao Feng returned to the wooden hut alone. Closing his eyes, the contents of the vitality-restoring qi technique and smoking shadowless steps appeared in his mind. A smile appeared on his face as he started to comprehend the 2 martial arts. This was the first time Zhao Feng had come into contact with a half-holy martial art. First was the returning breath technique, which was a Nigong skill. Nigong skills focused on training the body and couldn't be touched or seen with the naked eye. The more profound the inner force mental cultivation method, the more complicated the circulation method and the profound meaning of the mental cultivation method. Therefore, Nigong skills were extremely dangerous and any mistake could cause one to go berserk. But for Zhao Feng, who had the ability of his left eye, this risk was extremely low. At this moment, when he used the ability of his left eye, a strange warm aura spread throughout his body. Zhao Feng could see the blood, meridians, and even the circulation of inner strength in his body. It was close to the microscopic world. This ability was similar to the legendary inner vision, but those who could have inner vision were at least at the peak of the 9th rank. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's ability was even more detailed than inner sight, and it was even more powerful. In just a few hours, Zhao Feng had learnt the basics of the returning breath technique. A half-holy martial art was so easily learnt that even Baimua would be shocked if he was there. Returning breath technique: gather the essence of the human body and condense it into inner qi, able to contain most inner strength. Training this qi technique will allow one to have twice the amount of inner strength compared to others of the same rank. During battle, one can assimilate part of the opponent's inner strength. Such a powerful Nigong skill. Zhao Feng's voice was slightly trembling. The advantage of the returning breath technique was that it was able to absorb and merge inner strength, making it twice as powerful as others of the same rank. It could even assimilate part of the opponent's inner strength during battle. Half a day later, a small ball of returning breath inner strength was formed in Zhao Feng's body, and its power was obviously stronger than the air-crossing breathing technique. The most surprising thing was that the returning breath inner strength could assimilate other inner strengths. The inner strength that Zhao Feng had cultivated using the air-crossing breathing technique was slowly being devoured. As time passed, the returning breath inner strength grew stronger. One day and one night, all of the inner strength in Zhao Feng's body had been converted into the returning breath inner strength, and the Nigong skill had been completely replaced by the returning breath technique. The new inner strength still had a layer of green luster, and it was agile and fast, yet it did not lose its sharpness. The returning breath inner strength in my body was mostly formed by devouring and assimilating the original air-crossing breathing technique, so it retained its original characteristics. Zhao Feng discovered this, and it was a pleasant surprise. In this way, his returning breath inner strength could still be used together with the lightly floating fairy movement skill. Perhaps the effect would only be 80 to 90% of the original, but it could be made up for with the amount and level of the returning breath inner strength. After the initial mastery of the returning breath technique, Zhao Feng felt that his inner strength was much stronger than before, at least 50% stronger than Lei Kong. And this was only the initial mastery. Next, he went outside to comprehend and practice smoking transparent steps. The style of this half-holy level movement skill was extremely similar to the light micro steps that Zhao Feng used to practice. Smoking transparent steps, the footwork is like smoke, stepping on the water, leaving no trace behind. At the initial mastery level, the footwork is silent, shadowless, unpredictable, and impossible to guard against. Because he had reached the max level of lightly micro step, it was easy for Zhao Feng to learn smoking transparent step. However, it was not so easy to reach the initial mastery level, or even the initial mastery level. Zhao Feng trained hard for a few days, but he was only close to the initial mastery level. At this difficult moment, his mind merged with the flowing wind stance in the dimension of his left eye. The flowing wind stance was a support-type incomplete holy martial art. It had a unique concept, and it was beneficial to movement skills. Now, Zhao Feng's understanding of the flowing wind stance had reached 20 to 30%. Combining it with the smoking transparent steps, he had a new understanding. A while later, Zhao Feng retracted his mind, as a flash of understanding flashed in his eyes. He then started to practice the smoking transparent steps again, and the result was that he easily reached the initial mastery level. After reaching the initial mastery level, his understanding of the footwork continued to increase, and it only slowed down when it was close to the advanced mastery level. At this time, Zhao Feng's flowing wind stance had also reached 50 to 60%. Almost there. Zhao Feng stopped practicing. Up until now, the main martial arts that he had trained were the following: Saint Grade Martial Tactic, Silver Wall Technique, Half-Holy Grade Martial Arts, Qi Returning Technique, Smoking Shadowless Steps, Lightly Floating Fairy Peak Martial Art, Star Finger. Apart from that, there was also the Archery God's Left Eye, which couldn't be measured by normal standards. On top of that, Zhao Feng's cultivation of the 7th rank of the martial path was extremely strong. Even Zhao Feng couldn't estimate how strong he was right now. If I returned to Sun Feather City now, no one in the 3 major families would be my match. Zhao Feng couldn't help but sigh. Of course, his ambition wasn't in Sun Feather City anymore. In this huge county city, there were many geniuses. There were many who were on par with him, and there were also some who were stronger than him. Baimuo's cultivation had reached the peak of the 8th rank, and he even had the ability to kill cultivators of the 9th rank of the martial path. Staying here made Zhao Feng feel the pressure and competition, and his potential was being squeezed out. After deciding on a few martial arts, Zhao Feng walked out of the wooden house. Within the Sky Guards battalion, the rankings of the 10 Sky Guards had changed once again. In a few days, Lord Guanjuan will come out of seclusion, and the geniuses of the Sky Guards battalion are all fighting for the position of the 10 Sky Guards. As Huang Qi said this, he looked a little depressed. There were too many geniuses in the Sky Guards battalion, and each of them had great talent. Under this pressure, the geniuses all improved by leaps and bounds. Huang Qi was considered the #1 genius in Pearl Forest City, but he couldn't make it into the 10 Sky Guards after coming to the Sky Guards battalion. 2 days ago, I barely managed to beat the 9th rank 10 Sky Guard, but I was beaten back to my original state in less than half a day. Huang Qi said bitterly. These days, the rankings of the 10 Sky Guards had changed. However, there were 3 people whose rankings remained unshakable. These 3 were Feng Hanyue, Lei Cong, and Zhao Feng. Although Zhao Feng was ranked 10th, his true strength was at least in the top 3, so basically no one dared to challenge him. Everyone focused their firepower on the 9th ranker. Thus, the 9th ranked 10 Sky Guards battalion kept changing. On this day, 3rd Guard announced, Lord Guanjuan has come out of seclusion, and he will come to the Sky Guards battalion in 3 days. Chapter 81. Lord Guanjuan has come out of seclusion and will be coming to the Sky Guards battalion in 3 days. This news caused the Sky Guards battalion to explode. Many of the young geniuses were excited as they rubbed their fists and rubbed their palms together in anticipation. In the Guangzhou province city, Lord Guangzhou was a legend that represented power and strength. He was a figure that countless cultivators looked up to. Now that Lord Guangzhou had come out of seclusion, there was a high chance that he would pick one or two geniuses from the Sky Guards battalion. As the news spread, the competition within the Sky Guards battalion became more and more intense. Because of this, the geniuses within the 10 Sky Guards were constantly challenged. Even within the 10 Sky Guardians, the young geniuses started to challenge and compete with each other. Everything was for a better ranking. Without a doubt, the higher the ranking, the higher the chance of being chosen by Lord Guangzhou. Many youths seemed to have gone crazy as they trained and challenged with all their might, even if it was just a sliver of a chance. In these 2 days, even Zhao Feng was challenged by some youths. Zhao Feng calmly used Star Finger and looked down on all his opponents. In order to save himself some trouble, Zhao Feng decided to reveal his cultivation of the 7th rank. He had 2 reasons for doing this. Firstly, he didn't want to be challenged again and again by these youths. If he reached the 7th rank and became a martial master, the other youths wouldn't dare to challenge him even if they had 100 guts. Secondly, the higher the potential Zhao Feng showed, the higher the chance of being chosen by Lord Guangzhou. Zhao Feng was full of respect for the legendary ruler of the Guangzhou province city. Oh my god! Zhao Feng has also reached the 7th rank. Another genius of the 7th rank has appeared in the Sky Guards battalion. The news of Zhao Feng reaching the 7th rank also caused a huge uproar in the Sky Guards battalion. Zhao Yufei and Huang Qi were both shocked as they came to congratulate him. Congratulations brother Zhao for reaching the 7th rank and becoming a martial master. Huang Qi's face was full of envy, and there was a hint of respect in his expression. There were 9 stages in the martial path, and every 3 stages represented a stage: martial disciple, and martial master. Every time he passed a stage, his status and identity would rise by a world of difference. Martial disciples were the lowest level of martial arts cultivators. Simply put, they were apprentices. A martial artist was an official martial artist who possessed extraordinary strength, a certain status, and was respected by others. Martial Dao masters who had advanced to the 7th stage and above were basically ranked in the top ranks of martial artists. They were in the upper class of Shangyun country and were respected by the people. Once he broke through to the 7th layer, in the Cloud country, or even any of the surrounding 13 countries, he would be the target of recruitment by the various factions. I knew brother Zhao Feng wouldn't lose to Feng Hanyue and Lei Kong. Zhao Yufei's clear eyes flickered with joy. As for Zhao Feng breaking through to the 7th layer, she easily accepted it and was very happy for him. From the outer circle of the family to the inner circle, and then to his fame in Sun Feather City, Zhao Yufei had witnessed Zhao Feng's rise and growth. Yufei, with your talent, it won't take long for you to break through to the 7th layer. Zhao Feng smiled as he glanced at Zhao Yufei with his left eye. Zhao Yufei's cultivation had also reached the peak of the 6th layer, and she was ranked 5th among the 10 Sky Guards. Her true strength was only below the 3 experts of the 7th layer. Sky Guards Battalion, in the Central Pavilion. There are a few geniuses in the Sky Guards Battalion this time. They shouldn't disappoint Master, 3rd Guard murmured to himself. Although he stayed in the Central Pavilion and rarely went out, he knew everything about the Sky Guards Battalion. Knowing that Zhao Feng had broken through to the 7th layer, Feng Hanyue and Lei Tsong, who were ranked 1st and 2nd, were slightly moved. The time of 3 days slowly approached. The Sky Guards Battalion fell into a tense atmosphere. Especially the names of the 10 Sky Guards, which were constantly changing. Under such pressure, the potential of the youths was squeezed out and released. The 9th position of the Sky Guards Battalion would change every half an hour. Only the 3 geniuses of the 7th rank of the martial path could stabilize their rankings. They were far ahead of the rest with their absolute strength, making it hard for the other youths to catch up to them. Zhao Feng, on the other hand, had calmed down. In the last 2 days, he was making use of his time to increase his strength. Among them, the returning breath technique was his main skill, and Zhao Feng wouldn't slack off on it every day. If one succeeded in cultivating this half-holy internal cultivation technique, the amount of martial Tao inner force in one's body would be twice that of someone of the same level. But Zhao Feng had only trained it for a short period of time, so his inner strength was only half as strong as others of the same rank. Compared to the peak 7th layer, he didn't have much of an advantage. Furthermore, Star Finger was also one of Zhao Feng's martial arts that he focused on. The power of this skill wasn't any weaker than a half-holy martial art, not to mention that Zhao Feng had already trained it to the peak 4th level. On the 3rd day, Zhao Feng's Star Finger finally reached the 5th level. Star Finger had a total of 7 levels, and once he reached the 7th level, he would be able to dominate the 9th rank of the martial path. The 5th level of Star Finger made Zhao Feng's finger skill shine like stars. It was like a small meteor shower, beautiful and beautiful. Extreme attack. Extreme speed. This was what Zhao Feng felt. His current Star Finger could shoot out 7 to 8 fingers in a breath's time, and the power of each finger could threaten those of the 7th rank. His signature move, Star Finger, had almost reached the 8th rank of the martial path, and this wasn't even considering his silver wall technique. Tomorrow, Lord Guanjuan will come to the Sky Guards Battalion. On the 3rd night, the competition and challenges in the Sky Guards Battalion became even more intense. In the middle of the night, Huang Qi, who had been in the same group as Zhao Feng, finally reached 9th place and stabilized his position. At this time, his 2 peak-ranked martial arts had reached a high level, and his cultivation had also reached the peak 6th rank. I'm finally back. Huang Qi let out a long sigh of relief and began to stabilize his battle achievements. He advanced by 1 more place, killing his way to 8th place. This was because the 9th rank was too dangerous, and there were too many challengers. Even with Huang Qi's cultivation at the peak 6th rank, he was only able to stabilize his position at the 8th rank. From this, one could see how intense the competition was. Zhao Feng, with your strength, you can definitely challenge the top 3. Huang Qi didn't understand. He knew Zhao Feng's strength very well. When he was at the peak 6th rank, he already had the strength of a quasi-martial master. After the mission, Zhao Feng's battle points would increase even more, which meant that his strength would increase even more. Furthermore, Zhao Feng had already broken through to the 7th rank. What was even more terrifying was that before Zhao Feng reached the 7th rank, he had fought Lei Tsong for 100 moves and the result was a draw. Huang Qi was sure that Zhao Feng's strength was definitely one of the top in the Sky Guards Battalion. The reason why he wasn't number 1 was because Feng Hanyue had reached the peak 7th rank 2 days ago. Of the 10 Sky Guards, Feng Hanyue was number 1. After him was Zhao Feng. Lei Tsong was number 3. Of course, this was only based on strength. In the 10 Sky Guards, Zhao Feng was still number 10, and he was someone the other geniuses didn't dare challenge. I've already broken through to the 7th rank anyways, so the rankings don't matter. Zhao Feng smiled. Huang Qi couldn't help but reveal an envious expression. With Zhao Feng's potential, it was very likely that he would be chosen by Lord Guanjuan. The rankings indeed didn't matter much. To be able to reach the 7th rank before the age of 16 was definitely a super genius. In a small city, there might not even be one in 100 years. Time passed by slowly. Finally, on the morning of the 3rd day, 3rd guard walked out of the building and announced, "The challenge is temporarily over. Tomorrow morning, the 10 Sky Guards will gather in the building in the middle. At that time, Lord Guanjuan will come personally to teach you." The moment these words came out, the 10 heavenly guards cheered in excitement. And those who didn't make it into the 10 Sky Guards were slightly disappointed. Ha ha ha. I can finally have a good night's sleep. Huang Qi let out a long laugh. It was obvious that third guard had considered the mental state of the 10 sky guards and wanted to meet Lord Guanjuan in his best condition. I hope to have a good dream tomorrow. Zhao Feng was also looking forward to it. Ever since he had merged with the mysterious eye, he had been rising rapidly. After entering the Guanjuan province city, he had stepped onto a new stage and competed with the top geniuses, which greatly stimulated his potential. And now, he even had the chance to meet the top figures of the Cloud Country. That night, the 10 sky guards were all extremely excited as they fell asleep in their sweet dreams. The morning of the second day. The 10 sky guards woke up early in the morning. Without needing third guard's reminder, the 10 geniuses entered the building in the middle of the sky guards battalion. In the middle of the building. The 10 sky guards had all arrived within half an hour. Not bad, you're all early. Third guard counted the number of people and the name list. A few days ago, the name list and ranking of the Sky Guards battalion had changed so much that even he wasn't sure. A total of 10 people. Feng Hanyue, Lei Tsong, Lu Xiaoyu, Xiao Yufei. Huang Qi, Li Ziwen, Xiao Feng. Third guard finished reading according to the rankings. When he got to the 10th name, Xiao Feng, his eyes froze for an instant and he was slightly shocked. The 10 sky guards also had weird expressions on their faces. But no one dared to doubt Zhao Feng's strength. His position hadn't changed at all. Ta! 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 Just at this time, footsteps came from outside the building. The 10 sky guards in the pavilion held their breaths. Before the door was opened, a terrifying pressure came from outside. All the youths on the scene were breathing heavily. All the qi and blood in their bodies were restrained, and it was extremely uncomfortable. Every step of the footsteps seemed to be stepping on the heartstrings of the crowd. Under everyone's gaze, a few figures walked in. Chapter 82. Duh. Duh. As the footsteps sounded, the hearts of the 10 geniuses became extremely tense. Only the wooden-faced youth, third guard, sat expressionlessly on the spot. Creak. The door opened and 3 figures walked in. The person in the lead was a handsome young man in azure clothes. He was tall and handsome, and his eyes were clear and bright. He had a restrained aura, and when his gaze met, it caused the hearts of all the youths to tremble as if they were struck by lightning. It's him, Zhao Feng stared at the youth. He knew this person. Zhao Yufei was slightly surprised. The green-robed man in the lead was Yi Linyun, who had personally come to Sunfeather City. After entering the Guanjuan province city, Zhao Feng and Lei Tsong were a month apart from Yi Linyun. Behind Yi Linyun were 2 youths. One was smiling and the other was stiff and silent. Nan Gongfan. Bei Moi. Feng Hanyue and Lei Tsong's hearts jumped. Why are they here? Zhao Feng's heart skipped a beat. He had interacted with Nan Gongfan and Bei Moi before, so he knew how terrifying these 2 were. Bei Moi's cultivation was at the peak of the 8th rank and he had even killed cultivators of the 9th rank. Compared to these 2 super geniuses, the young geniuses of the 10 sky guards paled in comparison. Brother Yi is here too. Third guard smiled as he stood up to greet Yi Linyun. The 2 greeted each other and sat down. Zhao Feng realized that Yi Linyun's seat was even in front of third guard. Master Yi Linyun is also Lord Guanjuan's disciple. Zhao Feng was shocked. At this time, he realized that Yi Linyun's gaze landed on him with a friendly smile. It was obvious that Yi Linyun had high hopes for Zhao Feng. Master's goal in coming out of seclusion this time is to confirm 1 or 2 personal disciples. There's no hope for the 2 of us. Yi Linyun and third guard started to talk. Core disciple. The youths of the 10 sky guardians were puzzled. Don't be surprised. Me, Master Yi and Brother Nan Gongfan are all outer disciples. The only true direct disciple is junior brother Bei Moi. Third guard explained. An unofficial disciple. Zhao Feng and the others were shocked. Yi Linyun and Third Guard were at least at the 9th rank of the martial path, but they were only Lord Guanjuan's in-name disciples. With Nan Gongfan's cultivation at the 8th rank of the martial path, he was only an outer disciple under Lord Guanjuan. Only Bai Moi was Lord Guanjuan's core disciple. This Bai Moi is only 1 year older than me and his cultivation has reached the peak 8th rank. Only a genius like this has the right to become Lord Guanjuan's core disciple. Zhao Feng could not help but take a deep breath. With Bai Moi's strength, he could easily wipe out the entire Zhao family. No one in the entire Sun Feather City could be his opponent. Even in the Guanjuan province city, he was one of the strongest below Lord Guanjuan. And such a top expert, a super genius, was competing with them in the same era. Many geniuses' eyes dimmed when they saw Bai Moi. If it was 10 years ago, with Nan Gongfan and Feng Hanyue's talent, they would be able to dominate the other geniuses. But with the existence of Bai Moi, the other geniuses were destined to be the sidekicks. At this moment, the other geniuses looked at Bai Moi with envy, jealousy and helplessness. Reporting to the Third Guard, Master has ordered us to bring the 10 Sky Guards and the others to the Spiritual Martial Hall. A shadowy figure appeared in front of the door of the pavilion like a ghost. It was a Guanjuan Corps member, half kneeling on the ground. There were 18 people in the Guanjuan Corps, but the top 3 were all at the peak of the martial path and were also the leaders of the Guanjuan Corps. Spiritual Martial Hall. Yi Linyun and Third Guard looked at each other with shock on their faces. The Spiritual Martial Hall was the core of the Guanjuan Palace, and it was also the place where Lord Guanjuan cultivated. Normally, no one was allowed to enter the Spiritual Martial Hall, even Lord Guanjuan's outer disciples couldn't enter without being summoned. Since Master has summoned you to the Spiritual Martial Hall, it looks like he has made up his mind. This is a great opportunity for all of you. Yi Linyun's expression was solemn as he stood up and led the way. The 10 Sky Guards all felt the unusual atmosphere. But they knew that today was a chance for them to change their lives. 3 years ago, Bai Moi and I entered the Spiritual Martial Hall together. In the end, I became Lord Guanjuan's outer disciple and he became Master's core disciple. Nan Gongfan took a deep breath as he glanced at Bai Moi who was beside him. Bai Moi's face was expressionless and he didn't say anything. Thinking back to the time when he entered the Spiritual Martial Hall with Bai Moi, Nan Gongfan still couldn't understand. But ever since that day, his and Bai Moi's fate had changed. Once they became Lord Guanjuan's disciple, even if it was just an outer disciple, they would have an advantage over the other disciples of the big families. Not long after, the group came to an old gray-silver hall in the Guanjuan Palace. This old hall seemed to be empty, giving off a deathly silent feeling. Stepping into the hall, they couldn't see a single person. Only Zhao Feng could see 3 to 4 Guanjuan Corps hidden in the shadows if he opened his left eye to the maximum. Master, they're here. Grand Master Yi Linyun stood at the entrance of a large hall and said respectfully. Come in. A deep and powerful voice sounded from the depths of the hall. The voice seemed to come from the clouds and it didn't have any aura, but it made everyone feel as if they were looking at the stars. The 10 Sky Guards were breathing heavily and their hearts were tense. Their hearts were filled with apprehension and respect. Every step they took felt like they were getting closer to heaven. Zhao Feng was excited and a warm feeling came from the depths of his left eye. At this moment, he didn't even dare to open his left eye. Because before he stepped into the hall, his left eye had sensed an invisible aura that came from a powerful being deep within the hall. Their every move seemed to be under the control of the being. Da-da. Da-da. The group of youths entered the hall uneasily. Even Nan Gongfan and Bai Moi who were Lord Guanjuan's disciples had solemn expressions on their faces. In the empty hall, there was only one person sitting on a futon. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have realized that there was a person sitting in the hall. A middle-aged man dressed in a silver robe with golden patterns sat cross-legged on a praying mat. His figure was sharp, and his facial features were regular. His eyes were slightly closed, and he looked like an ordinary person. From head to toe, one could not feel the pressure of a martial artist's aura. At first glance, he seemed to be an ordinary person who had not stepped into the martial Tao. It was hard to imagine that this middle-aged man was the legendary Lord Guanjuan of the Cloud Country. Master, the 10 most outstanding Sky Guards of the Sky Guards Battalion are all here. Third guard bowed and said. Good. Lord Guanjuan nodded his head slowly as he opened his eyes and waved his hand. The moment he opened his eyes, everyone met his deep, pitch-black eyes. They were like an endless ocean, boundless and limitless. Zhao Feng had a strong visual impact as Lord Guanjuan opened his eyes and raised his hand. It was as if he had merged with the surroundings and released a suffocating aura. The moment he waved his hand, it was like a king waving his hand and everyone was seated. Yi Linyun, third guard, Bei Moi and Nan Gongfan all sat on futons near Lord Guanjuan. The 10 Sky Guards and the other youths sat on 10 futons. The seats were arranged according to the ranking of the 10 Sky Guards. First was Feng Hanyue, second was Lei Tsong, third was Lu Xiaoyu, and 10th was Zhao Feng. They were arranged like this. Master, there are a few geniuses in this generation of the Sky Guards Battalion. Third guard said in a low voice. Lord Guanjuan's face was expressionless as he looked at the 10 Sky Guards. Ah! In that instant, the hearts of the 10 Sky Guards shook as if they had been struck by lightning. Zhao Feng felt that Lord Guanjuan's gaze was like a bolt of lightning that flashed across his mind, making him feel as if his brain had short-circuited. In the blink of an eye, Lord Guanjuan saw the cultivation of the 10 Sky Guards with one glance. Zhao Feng felt as if his body had been pierced through. He had a feeling that even if his deadwood breathing technique was trained to the max level, it would still be impossible for him to hide his cultivation in front of Lord Guanjuan. Luckily, he didn't hide his cultivation in front of Lord Guanjuan in order to perform better. You're slightly stronger than before, but it's a pity that none of you have the right to become my core disciple. Lord Guanjuan's face was expressionless as if he was talking about a normal thing. But Zhao Feng's left eye still saw the disappointment in Lord Guanjuan's eyes even though he didn't intentionally use it. Boom! The 10 heavenly guards felt as if they had been thrown from heaven into the abyss. Lord Guanjuan's voice had clearly expressed that none of the geniuses of the 10 Sky Guards were worthy of his attention. How can this be? Yi Linyun and third guard were both shocked and in disbelief. In their eyes, although the geniuses of the Sky Guards Battalion weren't as monstrous as Bei Moi, they were still geniuses. Especially Feng Hanyue and Zhao Feng, they were both of the 7th rank of the martial path even though they were young. Master, how can you be sure if you don't try? Yi Linyun cautiously said as he looked at Zhao Feng with anticipation on his face. That's right, Feng Hanyue's cultivation is at the peak 7th rank of the martial path and he's not any weaker than Lu Xiaoyun. Zhao Feng is the youngest and he's also at the 7th rank of the martial path. In terms of memory, he's even better than Bei Moi. The wooden-faced young man couldn't bear it and also tried to persuade him. After all, these geniuses were personally trained and painstakingly fostered by him. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.